All right, it's Thursday night. You know where you're at. It's the BS sessions, bitches. As always, my partner in crime, Mr. Jerry Supe. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Suffering through a 49er game as we're doing this, so just to get a little noisy
We're
at
What, the
times.
suffering through
69ers?
suffering through the year. Oh,
Can't
you
believe
had a
it.
bad year last
Fuck
year
you, they're
and the year
playing the
before.
Lambs. So go 49ers. Fuck the
Well,
But
Rams
anyway,
eternally.
well, yeah. Fuck Stan
Yeah,
Kroenke.
Stan Kroenke can
Fuck that
go,
guy.
yeah.
Go
Fuck
suck
him
a dick.
completely.
Yeah.
Eternally.
Yep.
but anyway, on that note, let's introduce our two guests at the Metal Mike, Tyler and Bill Roseberry. Man, how you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for having us on. It was
Great.
an honor, as always. Thank you, guys.
Oh, always great to have you on, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Every, anytime we get people on here or learn shit on, it's just fucking amazing. So that's why I love having all you guys on. But anyway, our third guest there in the corn shirt. Joseph Staub, man, how you doing, dude?
Doing good. Again, going back to the Mountain Dew and vodka that I started last week.
Oh,
So
oh.
All right.
Oh, inside.
it was a hit for me last week, and I fell into bed after the show. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes this week, and we're probably gonna be talking even longer than we did last week.
Whiskey.
All right, Mark, man, why don't you take it from here, dude?
Well, I just want to say
For
what
now,
we're
take it from here now.
oh shit.
Take
I
it
just want to
now.
say what we're doing tonight. I picked this the years 89 to 2000, like we pick our favorite album from each of the years because I feel 89 is when music started of changing from what it was in the 80s, and it started to make a change, and up to 2000 when we started getting boy bands and all this Britney Spears music just totally did a fucking sea change during this like decade. It's like we had to start with 89 because in the middle of this the Sunset Strip is gone. There's no fucking hair metal. Metal is like dying. And it's like it started off 89, it started the slow decline of what we as fans liked. And it was hard, slim pickings as it goes, for me at least. I think Bill said he was DJing, so he's got a lot of shit on there. But we did that. But let's get to the BS real quick. I don't have much tonight, but I just want to say happy 71st birthday to Mr. Dave Medicetti. Thank you for being here and rocking. I've seen him twice. He fucking rules.
One of the
guy
best
can
rock
play
singers
instrument.
ever, man. One of the
Yeah.
best
I
rock
just saw him
singers
earlier
ever.
this year,
Underrated
still doing
band,
amazing.
YT.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, very underrated. They should have been bigger if they had a good record company.
Yeah.
A&M is not good rock for
Dude,
rock
that's
or
a
metal.
very old story, Mark, with a lot of bands. I think if they'd been with the right label, they would. Armored Saint is another one that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
But Chrysalis,
Yeah, Chrysalis. Ooh.
RCA, and A&M were not good hard rock metal labels.
Nope.
No.
They were good labels for other kinds of music,
Mhm.
but it's like they just didn't know how to market that
Well,
kind of.
A&M was the worst when it comes to. I mean, they're good for like bands like Styx and stuff like that.
And
but-
Oingo
Yeah.
Boingo.
Nazareth.
Yeah.
Well, Oingo Boingo was on that label too. So, but let's get into this. I got a good. I just gotta say some shit real quick, and then we can move on. I usually don't do. This isn't political. This is just about humanity. I think humanity's fucking sucky right now. The CEO of United Healthcare got fucking shot and killed, and all I see is on Facebook, good riddance. Fuck him. Oh, fuck him. Oh, they fucking narcs at McDonald's turned him in. I go, fuck you people. A man died and he wasn't fucking Hitler. The man had wife and kids, and you guys are all fucking happy. What is this fucking Thunderdome? I just
And
want
he
to say
was
fuck
murdered
off.
right on the street.
Yes.
Like an execution. I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
premeditated. It wasn't
Okay.
like it was
Premeditated murder.
premeditated.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
only thing I can say about it, and I'm not condoning what this guy did.
Fuck insurance companies, maybe. You
Fuck
could say
insurance
that,
companies.
but,
Yes.
I mean,
I understand the anger. I understand the rage. But that man just works there. Okay. Yeah, he might be the CEO, but it's like I don't know, man. There's other ways to get your point across
and
than
murdering
killing someone who, like, okay, and maybe for all we know, the guy could have been a complete prick. I don't know the man, but like Mark pointed out, he had a wife, he had kids, he had people who loved him, and I mean, look, people like the leader of ISIS and people like that, they deserve to get fucking smoked. Okay, that's a motherfucker. Like when Bin Laden died, I shedded no tears. Okay, people like that, yeah. A guy like this, man, I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, insurance companies can be really shitty, and it is frustrating because we all pay a lot of money in these premiums, and then, well, we don't cover this and we don't cover that. Well, what the fuck am I paying you for? You know, what's the fucking point in even having insurance? But that's a whole other thing, man. Like to just single this one guy out, and bro, you just had a shitty insurance company. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's fucked up. It is. It's like you should never celebrate.
I have that insurance going. I don't think it's that shitty. I mean, not that, I mean, they're all shitty to an extent, but I haven't had that many problems.
And it seems to me like this guy was a narcissist fuck, and he just did this mainly for the attention, you know. And then when you got people, stupid fuck sticks that validate it, you know, and I don't know, like there was a doctor who even said something like, part of him, and he said he felt guilty about this because, you know, medical people, and I know what I'm talking about, we have to deal with these insurance companies, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very frustrating when your fucking patient is sitting there in front of you suffering and the insurance company won't do fucking dick. With that being said, though, even he said, I'm a physician, I've pledged to care about life, I've pledged to save lives. So he didn't condone what happened to the man. You know, he fucking hates his company, you know, like, and he hated, you know, like he pointed out, I hate everything he stands for. But to, like he said, the man had a wife, he had kids, you know, and it's just fucked up, dude. I'm with you, Mark.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Fashion late. I was talking about the CEO getting gunned down and murdered and people cheering for it. So what do you think about that, man?
That's pretty disgusting when people are cheering that someone got murdered. You know, that's someone's life.
He's getting donations.
I mean, people try to start GoFundMe's for his bail.
Wow, that's just that's bad, man. When we that we as a society are celebrating a murder, no, it's just wrong. There's no way around it. There's no way to look at it any other way.
Like I said, I can understand the man's grievances, but that's not the fucking answer. And not only that, you've thrown your life away. What a dipshit. You know, like, you know.
Now, how can you make things
better? Yeah, I know. They're like, well, everybody, let's boycott McDonald's now because they turned him in. I'm like, dude, I mean,
okay.
Fuck up.
Talk to me next time you're fucking hungry, you fucking hypocritical fucks.
This country has a first fucking grade education. I swear it does. It really fucking does. Values are out the fucking window. We live by politics. We're so divided that we live by politics, left and right.
Well, we live in a society of lowered standards, and it's been that way for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, people that live and die by cable fucking news media, and it's just sad because nobody thinks for themselves anymore, and they follow things so fucking blindly. It's pathetic. Really
the party.
Exactly.
The one thing our forefathers were scared of.
George Washington said he did not believe in parties. You know?
Yeah, he was just like, that's not good because if you put party before country,
I mean,
that's fucked up.
I mean, this is mostly, the left.
Let's don't get into politics.
I'm going to say one thing. To give an example, the thing on this thing is mostly, the right pissed off that the left is following this guy. But I remember the right getting behind the guy that fucking broke into Pelosi's house and beat the shit out of her husband. So it works.
And that was fucked up.
That was sad. It really is.
And that's not right either. Look,
that was fucked up. Yeah.
It's wrong for both. It's wrong for both. It's not right. Violence is not the fucking answer. You don't go around beating somebody up just because they disagree. And here's another thing I'm going to go off on a tangent about. I hate people like the Ku Klux Klan and people like that and everything they stand for. But at the same time, they have the right to be a racist piece of shit. I don't like it. I don't have to be around them or have anything to do with them. But, people... Yeah,
I watched a thing one time, and working in the media for as long as I did and everything, freedom of speech is a big thing. But I watched a thing one time that was about a KKK rally, and it was in Chicago, and the policeman was on there that had covered. He goes, "It was probably my worst assignment of my career. I had to stand guard for that, but I just had to stand there and take a deep breath and realize that I was protecting the First Amendment, not
exactly."
He's like, I didn't agree with one thing they said. I agreed with the other side that was coming after him, but yeah, I mean that's all gone away now, though. I mean, it seems like people don't want to look at things like that.
But even and as I said, both sides are guilty of it. Like as you mentioned, Pelosi's husband.
Yeah.
But what about that one guy who was at a ball game or something, or playing baseball or softball? Somebody tried to shoot him or did shoot him, and then there was Rand Paul who got attacked. Like that's fucked up, man. I'm like, well, what the fuck,
All right,
let's move on.
Let's move on. Do you got anything to say about it anymore, Joseph?
Nope, we're moving on.
All right, let's move on. I got something.
He was pretty quiet through that whole thing, mostly. He didn't really want to talk about anything there, did you?
Who?
Joseph.
Me.
Joseph, yeah. Well, he brought up some good points. I didn't want to get it political. I was kind of trying to keep that away, and you guys kind of brought a little bit of it in.
Well,
I just wanted to talk about.
It's all good. Move on.
Move on. I want to talk about. I saw something today, and I bumped this into the BS. Fucking Sir Elton John. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking smoke me some weed right now, bitch.
That's just his opinion.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
He gave his opinion.
Let me talk. Let me talk. He said that he doesn't think the USA and Canada should legalize weed because it's a gateway drug. He said it got him on the other. Fuck you. It didn't get you on other drugs. It was fucking booze, you motherfucker, that got you into harder drugs. And you were hiding, you were gay in the 70s. You had a depression, so you looked for something to numb the pain, and weed doesn't numb you. Weed fucking calms you down. It doesn't stop you from thinking about shit. It actually makes you think about shit. So you were looking for stuff that don't fucking blame weed for your hard drugs, dude. You stayed in a fucking room for a week with cocaine and fucking water. Don't give me that fucking shit. Fuck you, Elton John. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. You're the only one.
Just because of weed.
That's a little much for weed, Mark.
His opinion on
he's a hypocrite. He's a fucking hypocrite. I hate
How is he a hypocrite?
It's a little much.
Dude, I haven't
for
liked him
an
since
opinion about weed.
79.
How is he a hypocrite for what he said?
Because he did all that shit and he's telling people they shouldn't do it.
So he changed his life around.
Right.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do it.
We know you're bald. Take off that wig.
all right.
He had album covers with him bald, man.
Here's my take on it, if I may.
Go ahead.
Number one, all right. For some people, it is true. Weed can be a gateway. It was for my big brother. He even said himself, because my brother for a long time, he became a major addict. Like he turned into a cokehead. He was fucking around with crystal meth. My brother did some shit he had no business doing. But I always loved what he said later, because it's the drug I first started with, and it's the one I came back to. Because I know a lot of recovering addicts that still smoke weed. That's number one, though. So it can be, but it's not. You can't blanket it for everybody. That's the problem. Like Elton John, I'm sure you mean well, bro, but not everybody's the same. Because guess what? Not everybody, different drugs affect different people differently, for one thing. Secondly, I'm big, man, because look, they tried to prohibit alcohol in the 1920s, and what fucking happened? Turned into a huge clusterfuck of a mess. You cannot legislate morality, okay? And trying to prohibit marijuana or any drug for that matter, as far as I'm concerned, when you got other countries like Amsterdam that are controlling it and regulate it and
making money,
it's fucking stupid as far as I'm concerned. That's where my libertarian politics really come into play, man. Like, because I'm very strange. I'm very conservative about some issues. I'm very liberal about others. And to me,
Mark's never going to have you on again. You keep talking about politics.
Yeah, stop.
I don't give a fuck, man. And here's the other thing, man.
But this is a political question.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about weed.
But
Two topics in a row, Mark.
You're talking about drug prohibition. That's what Elton John's talking about. He's talking about prohibiting marijuana. That's political, Mark. Okay, so hey, blame it.
I just like to smoke it because it helps my knee pain.
My point that I'm trying to make, though, is to me, it's like when here's another perfect example. Prostitution's illegal. But if I want to get a camera, and if a woman's willing to pay her to have sex with me or another dude that's legal. But to get my freak on in the privacy of my own home, and I'm willing to pay for it, because I don't want to go through the fucking headaches and the hoops of having a girlfriend or a wife and trying to keep her fucking happy. Because let's be honest, that's impossible.
You could always take a trip to Vegas.
Sorry, ladies, I'm only kidding. But my point that I'm trying to make,
outside of Vegas, Mark, not to Vegas.
Okay, Nevada,
right.
Not Vegas proper.
But my point is
Of
I
course
think
you know
that
that.
should be legalized because again, you cannot legislate morality. People are going to get their freak on. People are going to do their fucking drugs. They're going to get drunk. They're going to do whatever it is they're going to fucking do. And there ain't a goddamn thing you can do to stop it. You know, they act like these fucking drug laws stop people from banging heroin or whatever the fuck it is they're fucking doing. Okay, don't fucking stop anything. Give me a fucking break. It's a waste of time, money, and resources. Next.
Next, anybody got
Next,
anything
Mark.
to say? I'm just gonna say I haven't liked anything by Elton John since like 1980. So his music went down as soon as he got that toupee. He went crap to me, you know. And
You don't
he was
like-
better
he
when
was-
he was better
You
when he
don't
was
like? I guess
bald.
that's why they call it the blues.
He was just.
I
giving
said
love
it.
that
80.
song.
He was
Isn't
just.
that 80?
That's like 85, Mark.
Okay, a couple songs after that. Okay, but basically his
Come on,
album
man. You
was-
like the Lion King stuff. Come
Oh
on.
fuck that song.
How can you not like the
Fuck
Lion
that song to hell.
Jerry can't even keep a
But-
straight face while he's saying it.
Okay,
But,
fuck that Tarzan movie soundtrack. Phil Collins, awesome.
yeah, look at the money they're made for that, probably.
Jesus Christ,
But
man. Who died and made Mark Darth Vader?
I agree with Mike. I mean, I think it should be legalized on all levels, hands down. Everybody should be pardoned. And
It's
you
just
should be
ridiculous, man.
incarcerated
It's a waste
for,
of time.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
look at these states that haven't legalized. They're making banks. California, Colorado. They're making a lot
Even
of money.
Illinois
off that
made
shit.
weed legal now.
Even Kentucky, the most backward state, in my opinion, and the union's legal. Come on, man. Let's get it. All these states are doing it. Tennessee, it's not even on the ballot anymore here in Tennessee. I mean,
EA still
get
isn't
your
gonna do
fucking- Your fucking ass, man. It should be
Who is
legal.
going to do it, Joseph?
Pennsylvania.
Ah,
I don't know if a president has the power. They can. I mean, they can like make it federal. I guess.
I think
But-
it is nationally decriminalized. I think.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's a state decision in the end. I guess if it's going to be legal or not.
Yeah.
But it sucks because
it is, and it sucks from the point of they can't, with it not being federalized, they can't put the money from these weed farms on like a federal in a bank or anything. That's like the setup for that Tulsa King with Sly.
Yeah.
How he
great
comes
show.
in and they keep all that cash on hand because so it's setting up stuff for robberies and things like that too. They're setting things up for criminals to be able to, have options to go steal and shit again, like old school. I mean, I love it how they set up laws that end up setting up to help criminals be
Even-
more advantageous.
well, alcohol prohibition,
Right, that was
finishing
the-
school
that was
for.
the-
I mean, there was always organized crime, but
That was Al Capone right there.
right.
right.
Yeah.
And
But the
Lucky
cops
Luciano
that-
and all those guys.
the cops here in Tennessee don't give a shit either. Just make you dump your bag out. That's it.
Right.
They were looking for escaped criminal, escaped convict from a jail at my sister's house, and he had pot all. My brother-in-law had pot all over the place. He said, "I don't." The cop went in and looked and said, "I don't even care about the fucking pot." It's like, why make it? You know what I'm saying? It's like the cops don't give a shit. Why should I don't know.
Well, when
You
it
know what I'm
was
trying to say? It's
when
like-
it was legal here in California, when it was illegal in California in the late 80s and 90s, when I was doing most of my smoking, the cops would pull me over. They see my bag and just dump it and say, "Have a good day."
Exactly.
They didn't care.
It's like, why? I mean, why make a law then? I mean,
I
you
lost
know what I'm
50
saying?
bucks
It's like
here and there, but that sucked.
I don't get it. It's odd.
That's all I got to say about it.
Anything
Yeah,
about
no
that,
shit.
Andy? Elton John?
About that was Elton John's opinion. It is known to be a gate drug. We all know that. We've all heard about that.
He's at the crusty stage of his life. so,
I've never. It wasn't a gateway for me. I'm
starting to get
whole
there. That
population
crusty
of the
age.
But you know, I was Andy back when I was smoking weed back in the 80s and 90s. I had people offer me speed, heroin.
Hey, we're not
Yeah,
just-
Mark,
Mark,
that was you.
I didn't do none of it.
That
man.
was you.
Mark,
Your
I was the
experience
same
is not
way.
universal.
Elton
Yeah,
John.
I was the same way, Mark. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, for
Yeah.
my big brother, like he said it more than once. This is the drug I started out with. It's the one I came back to. It is. I'm not saying it is for everyone, but for some people,
But
yes,
it
it
is.
can be a gateway drug. Just
is.
like alcohol can be a gateway drug.
But I think alcohol started his gate. That was Elton John's gateway drug.
I mean, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't. I've not lived Elton John's life. I
Right.
can't tell you what drug he did first. And I mean, and look, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, this is no different than when people get all butthurt about one musician or artist ripping on, or endorsing a politician, and and you'll hear them on both sides. I'm never going to listen to Ace Frehley again, or I'm never going to listen to Cheap Trick. Who gives a fuck, man?
Cheap Trick?
I don't care about their politics.
When did they get political?
I let personalities and shit like that in politics influence what art I would consume and enjoy. Well, fuck, man. I don't care. Because
And I'm not against weed, Mark. I would love to start smoking again. I would love it. But it is a gateway for other people.
Maybe.
Yeah. And
I
unfortunately, they do test still here in Tennessee.
Yeah, I just think it might be a gateway because they're looking for a harder high. And I like to be mellow and just sit there and relax.
Okay, Mark, people are different. I
know, but I don't think it's really.
All right, my favorite album of 1989 is
right. Okay, well, let's get into this. I'm done with the BS, Jerry. I got to take a piss. Start with somebody. I'll be right back.
All right, let's get this done. Are we doing our
824? We're already starting.
Yeah,
the decade from 89 to 2000. Actually, it's going to be 12 picks, believe it or not, tonight.
Yeah, it is. You see, I told you I was right
because Mark fucked up.
I told you. He goes.
Let's
start out. You're not counting right. Fuck you.
Let's start out with
my fingers. It's 12.
Start out with 89 and go. Start out with Joseph.
All right. So the way I did this, I told all the guys here in the group chat earlier, is that for each year I picked my favorite album and I picked one honorable mention. And what I did for all 24 picks is I didn't use any artist more than once. So I have 24 different artists here. And so for 1989, this was really hard. I mean, these early years, there was so many amazing albums that came out in these years. And what I tried to do is I tried to pick albums that maybe I don't talk about as much on some of these shows, because of course there's some albums that we always come back to that are just all-timers. Yeah. So I wanted to pick some that we maybe don't talk about as much. And so for my honorable mention for 1989, I have the first Garth Brooks album. I think this is a phenomenal country album.
It was
huge. This wasn't the album that broke him, but it ended up going almost diamond after he broke. And of course, this album has my all-time favorite Garth Brooks song, "The Dance," on it. Amazing song. Just a really, really great country album. But my favorite album of 1989, Mark, you can go back to the bathroom again. Savatage, Gutter Ballet. The perfect rock opera, in my opinion. It's not really a rock opera, but it feels like a rock opera. Just some really heavy tracks of Rage and War, Hounds, She's in Love, and then the song Gutter Ballet that's a little bit more operatic. When the Crowds Are Gone, a beautiful, beautiful ballad, which I got to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra play this year in honor of Paul O'Neill. But just a really, really, really great Savatage album, the one that really kind of really foreshadowed Trans-Siberian Orchestra that would come about a decade after this. But Savatage, Gutter Ballet, my favorite album of 1989.
Awesome. Bill.
Hey, I did see Trans-Siberian Orchestra and they're really good.
That you did.
Well, Joseph actually made me feel that, because I'm like, I'm going to be all over the place with the country and rap and everything. And I'm like, I'm telling Mike, I'm like, I don't know how these guys are. They're going to be like,
I told you not to trip, man.
But do what you want, dude. We don't trip.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying you're going to, but I just, it's, I don't feel like it's the audience for some of this stuff. So when he said Garth,
we don't give a shit.
Like, good job. Yeah, because I loved listening to Garth back then. So I had so much problems with this. So I got 10 that I did, and then I'm just going to run through those, and then my number one. So, because I got pages and pages that I wrote down. I had so much trouble picking stuff on this. So 89, number 10 was As Nasty as They Want to Be, Two Live Crew.
Damn.
Abraham Lincoln was a good old man. He hopped out the window with his dick in his hand. He said, "Excuse me, ladies, just doing my duty. Now pull down your pants and give me some booty." The nursery rhymes, man. That was my
That's
childhood.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, we're very good. Yeah. So, number 9, Mother's Milk, Red Hot Chili Peppers. 8, Skid Row. 7, Practice What You Preach, Testament. 6, The Great Radio Controversy, Tesla. 5, The Years of Decay, Overkill. 4, The Real Thing, Faith No More. 3, Journeyman by Eric Clapton. I saw that, by the way, Mark. You stick your tongue out for Faith No More.
Yeah, Bill didn't like my comment. Was that you that didn't like my comment about Eric Clapton? Yeah, I think that was
Yeah. I'm not talking to you. Yeah. Yeah, number 3, Journeyman by Eric Clapton. 2, Pump by Aerosmith. And number 1, I listened to it today at work while I was working. Love this album. Full Moon Fever by Tom Petty.
Great album.
Classic.
Great album.
That song is not really a sign of the times. I think it's just a classic rock album.
Oh,
you don't hear
fucking
the 80s.
phenomenal.
It still holds up today.
It
I
is.
mean, with some of the songs.
Tom Petty, man.
You got Jeff Lynne writing on there with him.
Mhm.
George Harrison's part of it. Even Roy Orbison
fantastic
was
record.
part of it.
Well, that album was
died.
instrumental in forming the Traveling Wilburys.
No, it was after the travel.
It was after.
It was after
Roy,
the
Yeah,
Traveling
Guy.
Woolberries was 87.
87.
Okay.
Yeah.
Came out.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Roy's
Well, they were
last.
working on something because that's how they got
Roy
together.
Orbison's last.
They
stuff
did
on
Handle with
Son
Care, and
Dominance.
then
Oh, that's
What?
true. You're right. That was after that video. After the first video, he pretty much died. Roy
Yeah.
Orbison, after Handle with Care. Yeah,
And they did
My
End
mom
of the
and
Line
dad
where
were-
they showed an empty guitar on the train, you know?
yeah,
that was pretty
My mom and
sad.
dad
Actually,
were
That was
huge
a-
Roy Orbison
yeah.
fans.
Yeah,
so I remember that.
You know,
with the
songs
rocking
like-
chair still going.
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
was
Free
sad.
Fall, and obviously I Won't Back Down. You know, A Face in the Crowd, Running Down.
Oh, what a
Dream.
great song! Face in the
Yeah,
Crowd. What a
so-
great
such
fucking
great-
song.
Great songs.
The
Yeah, like I
apartment
said,
song, man.
The apartment song's great. You know, and you
Okay.
got, like I said, Jeff Lynne helping write most of it. Some of the guitar work by Mike Campbell is unbelievable.
Mike Campbell's so underrated.
Yeah, he is. He's very underrated. Just great classic rock album that's timeless. So
I agree. That's a great fucking
89
choice right there, man. All right, Mike, what do you got, man?
All right, man. Well, mine's it's almost all hard rock and metal, mostly metal. Even my honorable mentions. And the only reason why is because there were so many great metal albums that, you know, for the hardcore fans, they know, but for any casual, they might not.
let me interrupt for this. So Mike only talks about 2 things, guys: the Pittsburgh Steelers and metal.
That's right.
Those are the
That's
only
his nickname. That's his
Never talks
nickname,
about
man.
You don't
Yeah.
talk about boobs? God damn.
Yeah,
very
boobs,
seldom. I mean,
butts.
very seldom. It's more about the Steelers.
You
and
need to
metal.
get more boobs.
Metal Mike sounds better than Steeler Mike. So,
yeah. But when we win the 7th this year,
Fuck
Thank you,
you.
Joe.
You ain't getting the 7th.
Oh, it's going to happen. It might happen this year, but it's going to happen.
hey, if you're going up against Kansas City, I am fucking in your corner.
Oh yeah, I would
we
actually
play them at home on Christmas.
All right,
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
Mike.
All right. So yeah, my honorable mentions, and there's quite a few. Because I just couldn't help myself. There was just so many. I'm like, God, it was hard. It was hard because I wrote all of them down, just wrote them down, and then I picked. And it was really hard. But I mean, Overkill, Years of Decay, what an amazing album. Wasp, The Headless Children, very underrated metal album. Testament, Practice What You Preach. Nuclear Assault, Handle with Care. Obituary, Slowly We Rot. Ministry, The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. King Diamond, Conspiracy, which is a sequel to my all-time favorite King Diamond album, Them. Metal Church, Blessing, Disguise. What a great fucking record there. Tesla, The Great Radio Controversy. Sodom, Agent Orange. Creator, Extreme Aggression. Nuclear Assault, Handle with Care. Oh, I threw that down twice. But Annihilator, Alice in Hell. Candlemas, Tales of Creation. Exodus, Fabulous Disaster, The Cult, Sonic Temple, Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness, Soundgarden, Louder Than Love, LA Guns, Cocked and Loaded, Great White, Twice Shy, Sabotage, Gutter Ballet, Faith No More, The Real Thing, Dark Angel, Leave Scars, 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, which is still my favorite NIN album to this day, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mother's Milk, which is still my favorite Chili Peppers. But my pick was Sepultura's Beneath the Remains.
Great
Mainly
album.
because this was the first album. A buddy of mine named Jason Hammond, he brought this album over and Arise. So I didn't get the album when it came out. And the only reason why, I mean, personally, my favorite Sepultura album is Arise, but I picked Beneath the Remains just because it's like right there with Arise. And it just blew both those records blew my mind when I heard them. And I just kind of felt like I had another. I didn't want to repeat myself, so I picked that one. It was just an amazing.
I have never heard a lot of that band for some reason. That's one band
What?
I've heard of but never really
That's
listened
the
to.
album,
Jerry.
Jerry. That's the album. If you want to listen to an album, listen to that
Bro,
one.
I
if you
always
listen
hear
to
their
their
raw
name.
and heavy, Jerry.
I always hear their name, and I always want to listen, but I never do. For some
Especially
reason.
if you love thrash metal.
Are they
which
from
is
South
so-
America or some shit?
Yeah,
like
they're
that?
from
Brazil.
Brazil. Okay.
And
yeah, that's the band.
what's really cool is because it was brothers, Max and Igor Cavallari. Igor was the drummer, Max was the rhythm guitarist and the singer. And I don't want to say main songwriter because Andreas contributed as well, but
in the early years, they were the band
because that lineup broke up, and the Cavallari conspiracy is when him and Igor got back together and they formed that band. And here lately they've been recording some of their really because their early albums before Beneath the Remains, the songs are good, but the production is awful. It's so bad, Jerry, because they were just
do they have a box set or something?
They were just kids when they recorded those those early albums, to where, dude, they didn't even know how to tune their instruments. Their fucking instruments are all out of tune. Like, it's really, but they've re-recorded those. But I saw them. They did a tour called Beneath and Arise, which was Beneath the Arise, which was basically they did Beneath the Remains and Arise all in its entirety. And I mean, let's just put it this way. Mark, Mark likes thrash and stuff, but Mark's not really, but even he digs Sepultura. And I think the reason why is what Bushy, my podcasting partner, pointed out. Because one time I was like, well, Bill loves Sepultura, but he doesn't like Slayer. And he goes, yeah, Mike, but Sepultura's got groove, man.
Yeah, groove.
Like,
there you go.
And they do. Groove. And they do.
They
do.
Oh, that's the later album. That's the later album. That's not the good stuff.
Yeah, but anyway, Jerry, I'm going to hit you up later. I'm going to send you something.
Please do.
Yeah, because I think you dig it, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's a band I've heard of my whole life. I mean, I'm sure if I listen to some of the music, I have heard of them. But
I think you would really dig what the Cavaleras are doing with the re-recordings too.
Yeah, those are amazing. Yeah, I know. Like Andreas shut. Oh, it's disrespectful. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're just because you didn't think of it.
It's their music.
Literally, the brothers were the only people that played on Bestial Devastation and Chaos.
Gotcha.
Like that was
stop already. Yeah, because I don't even think Andreas was a member of the band at that time. So it's like, and I love you, Andreas, but come on, you should have changed the name too. You're not fucking Sepultura. Sorry, bro.
All right, Andy, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm just going to mention my runner-up, and then my winner. My runner-up is going to be Don Henley's "End of the Innocents."
Great album, man.
For 1989.
Great record.
I love that album. It's beautifully written, but it wasn't my winner because there's like 2 tracks there that I don't dig. Every album here that is my number one, I know top to bottom, front and back, word for word, note for note. Joseph, I don't repeat anybody on this list at all.
I do.
It was so hard for me not to, because when you're talking about a decade, you talk about certain bands, especially in the 90s, that
were on a roll.
So I'm going to start off with my number one. It was mentioned by Bill being his number 2, but Pump by Aerosmith is my number 1 album for 1989.
I love and hate that album. I love and hate it at the same time.
I saw that 70s Aerosmith.
I saw that tour. Fucking amazing Skid Row opening.
I did too. Yeah,
great shit.
Good show.
The production was a little bit too clean for me, but the playing on here is just fantastic.
Voodoo Vit Medicine Man.
It's dirtier than they had been in years. I mean, this harks back to probably
70s,
they got those riffs on there like Hoodoo Vit Medicine Man. That riff is like, oh god, so good.
They had not made an album like this since Draw the Line.
That's my favorite Aerosmith album, by the way. Draw the Line.
I would agree with that, Andy. Yeah, that's probably why I liked it.
Yeah, it's a really good album.
It's got some bluesy elements to it, which I really liked.
It sounded like fucking
Aerosmith. You know?
I even like the singles. I'll give it to them. I like the singles.
But what it takes was I think the worst song off the album, and I still liked it.
I like that song.
I said I still liked it, but it was the worst song on the album. It wasn't it was like the last song I liked.
It was in my top 5 because I really liked that song, and what a really good closer to end the album. To pick that song, it's a really good closer. So that's my number one for
I listened to
89.
that album a lot, Andy, when I was younger.
Great album, man.
And
I
still
love half
still
of
go
it and
back
I
to
hate
it
half
sometimes.
of it.
I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you got, man?
All right, I got 2 runner-ups. I got Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. You know how much I love Tom Petty, but Tom Petty's coming up later in the list. Maybe once or twice. You never know. So I couldn't pick that one. And then Tesla's Great Radio Controversy. Everybody knows how much I love Tesla. But fucking I had to go with my band. Fucking Presto by Rush, man. I listened to that fucking album so much in 1989. I listened to it watching Back to Future 2 in the parking lot. I just fucking what's your favorite song out there, Jerry?
The Past. That's my favorite Rush album.
Past.
Hate
That
me
is
if you
their
want.
favorite song
It
ever
I am
recorded.
not a fan of that album.
I love
It has a personal standing with me. That's why
I like it. It was different. It was different. It was a
I love The Past. Great song. Not a fan of that
I'll
album.
mention
Scars,
Rush later, but
Show Don't
not that record.
Show Don't Tell. Well, you're probably gonna get to the one Rush that
wait till you see some of mine. You guys are gonna take my metal card away from me. So
no, I mean, dude, it's cool. You know, I love Rush, but I'm more of a 70s, early 80s.
Right.
Sure, I am too.
Yeah, me too.
And this is a period in time where I kind of tuned out. It just didn't grab me.
Yeah,
I
like all
will
you
never
guys did.
impugn their musicianship. I'll never, but it's not my. I love that movie, dude. It wasn't my Rush. Okay, I'll just put it that way.
We're the same age. It was my Rush.
Mark, you've always admitted that you have come in very late to a lot of bands.
I
You
have.
came in very late to a lot of bands that people got into before you did.
Yeah,
You were late to the party on a lot of this music. So your era of these bands might be a little bit different from people even that are the same age.
Right, I was young, dude, when I got.
Well,
into
it's called not having influences. Like he had brothers, he had next door neighbors. I just had
And
a next door neighbor, and then when I started In and Out in 1987, I got those influences from them, like Metallica and the harder shit from them.
Right.
I didn't have that till I was like
I
almost
understand.
18.
Well, you were an only child, weren't you, Mark?
Yeah, only child.
Yeah,
I was too.
Yeah.
So I was later to a lot of this stuff too.
I still hate Slayer.
I was lucky. I've said that more than once because most guys my age, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying, but they probably gotten like, okay, for instance, we'll use Kiss. Oh my God, Kiss. But that's a perfect example. I got into them on a live. I was 6 fucking years old in early 76 when I heard that album. Most guys my age probably got into Kiss around Alive 2, maybe, or Love Gun, or even Dynasty.
Or never got
what
into
I'm
Kiss
saying?
till later.
Yeah, you got way into them late. But yeah, they just passed by your radar. And Mark, it happens. There's been a lot of bands or artists that passed me by. And then when I went back and listened, like, oh shit. And then there were some artists or bands where I was like, I didn't like them. But when I went back and listened to them later, because, you evolve, your tastes change, and you go, oh man, that's really good music. So it's all good, man.
Yeah, I was late when it comes to Nazareth, but Joe opened me up to them, man. They're a great fucking band, dude.
Nazareth is an underrated.
I was great. Same thing. I like a lot of Nazareth now. I like them better than BOC.
Yeah,
I like
Andy
them better
gave me
than BOC, Joseph.
Andy gave me his Presto vinyl, and it's like hard to fucking find cheap. So that's how much Andy didn't really like Presto, I guess. Did you? He gave it to me for free, so I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Hell yeah, send it to me. Appreciate that. All right, my turn.
All right,
well,
Jerry.
If you know me, this is going to be no surprise.
Metal Church,
really?
Yeah.
Blessing in Disguise, man. It's fucking one of my favorite albums.
I didn't see that one coming at all, Jerry. That was a total curveball to me.
Well, you might see them show up a few times on
probably.
Obviously, it's definitely my favorite metal band of all time, man. Definitely don't get the fucking love that I think they deserve, man. Kurt Vander, he was the fucking master of riffs, man. His riffs are so fucking underrated, dude. Fucking legend. And it's sad some of the songs on this album, like Fake Healer and stuff like that. And Mike talking about, how the medical thing is all working back then and how it caught up to him at the end, unfortunately. And it's a really sad story with Mike, actually.
It is. It's fucking tragic.
Great fucking singer, dude. I mean, they're fortunate. They got David Wayne, they got the new guy Mark Lopes and Ronnie Monroe. They've had fortunate to have great fucking lead vocalists, man. But nobody is as good as Mike, dude. He's the best of all time. And
good pick.
As far as one of my favorite singers, just got that fucking nasty snarl to his voice, man. I just loved it.
Yeah, good pick, Jerry.
All right, so let's get the number 1990, Joe.
Well, from one of your favorite singers who's very underrated to one of my favorite singers who's very underrated, my runner-up for 1990 is a band that deserves way more love than they get, and that is Sanctuary, Into the Mirror Black. Really, really great album. Future Tense was the single off this. That was the video. Great song, but there's some just amazing stuff on here. Taste Revenge, Seasons of Destruction,
Good
just
pick,
some really,
bro. Good pick.
really great stuff on there. Really, if you're not familiar, Sanctuary only has 2 albums from their classic run, and you can get both of them on this 2-album set. It was like $10 on Amazon. It's a 2 CD set. Really great investment. They're
again another band I heard and never listened to.
I never heard
then
of either.
Then they turned into Nevermore in the late 90s, who's one of my favorite bands. Warrell Dane, from the singer of Nevermore, was the singer of Sanctuary.
That's where it all started, right
some
there.
Some of the other members, yeah. And so they're just a really, really great underrated thrash band. Have some really great stuff. So Into the Mirror Black by Sanctuary is my runner-up.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them, but you know me, I love my thrash.
Yeah. And the older I get, the heavier I'm liking my music. Back then, it was just like, I liked rock and, some thrash, but super heavy. I didn't like the roar, I love the growling vocals now. But, it's weird. You're supposed to get mellower when you get older, but I'm liking it louder. Yeah. I'm liking it faster, So
well, I tell you what then, Jerry, I would highly recommend getting into Sanctuary and Nevermore because they are just very unique bands. Warrell Dane was a very unique singer, and just his voice, I think, is amazing, and the songwriting is just really, really great. But I really have, over the past couple of years, been really digging into their stuff. Just some really great music throughout the 90s and 2000s.
Cool.
But probably one of the more obvious picks on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I mean, it's Painkiller, so I don't have to say much about it.
For sure. Great album.
An amazing album. And I remember when it came out at the time, because to me, someone who was disillusioned with Judas Priest with fucking Turbo and Ram It Down when that album came out.
Parental Guidance rules.
That song sucks.
I
saw him on that tour.
Demon Cock. Yeah. I fucking hate that.
No, Mike. Rob Halford sucks Big Demon Cock.
Good for him. But the song, it ate fucking Pavarotti's ass or whatever. It's just terrible. Okay,
Pavarotti's ass.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I love Priest. It pains me to say that, but even the mighty Judas Priest disappointed me. But man, this record, holy fuck! First time I heard the single, man.
The drumming comes in.
I was like, oh, these guys are back, and they're not.
Travis rules.
Not to rub it in, Mike got sick when Priest came to town. I got to see him. I'd never seen him. When they did Painkiller, it was so
that's
bad.
when I had my emergency appendectomy.
Yeah, one of the best songs they did live was Painkiller.
The only time I saw him was during the Turbo tour. That's the only time I've seen him.
I
got to see him with the classic, with almost, I guess he called it the classic
and I'm
lineup.
sure most of the songs they played were great. It's not like
they did the Green Man Alicia from
Fleetwood Mac. They played that. I got to see him play that too.
Yeah dude.
I've seen him in the last 6 years 3 times.
And then they did
twice with Queensryche and once with the Riot Heat.
And then they fucking do Parental Guidance and the crowd's getting into it. I'm like, dude, this song sucks.
I love that song.
The only song I really like from that album is Locked In. Everything else in there, I just don't really
I love the title track. I love Locked In, and I love Out in the Cold.
Jerry, we were sitting there. His brother Dave was with us too, and we went, and we're standing the entire time. We got seats down on the floor. We're not far from the stage, and I stood for every song. And they started doing Turbo Lover, and I sat down, and Dave goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking a fucking break." I'm like, I don't care, and I can't see anything. And Dave's like, "You're missing it. He's up here dancing. He's gyrating on stage."
Wasn't the part that Rob came out on his motorcycle? I thought that was the song he came out on his motorcycle, wasn't it?
No, not Turbo
It's
Lover.
Been a while.
It's usually Hell Bent for Leather.
Hell Bent for Leather. Yeah,
Hell Bent for Leather. He comes out.
It's been a long time. A lot of hangovers between that concert.
I only saw Priest once, and what was cool about it is it was an Ozfest, and it was a fucking amazing lineup in the main stage because, at least for me, because the 3 bands that finished last was Slayer, then Priest with Rob Halford. He just rejoined the band, and then fucking the mighty Black Sabbath. It was
That would have been fucking pretty cool.
fucking metal Nirvana. All right. And I don't mean that as in the band. I'm just talking fucking amazing.
Yeah, Nirvana sucks.
Cool.
All
All right,
Anyway.
where are we at here? Bill.
right.
Yeah, man.
All right. 1990. Here we go. 10. America's Most Wanted. Ice Cube. Number
Oh,
9,
that's a great album. Great album. Love it.
Frizzle Fry. Primus. Number 8. Lights, Camera, Revolution. Suicidal Tendencies. Number 7. Facelift. Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
6. Painkiller. Judas Priest. 5. Empire. Queensryche. 4. The Razor's Edge. AC/DC. Personal for me. I listened to that a lot at that
I
time.
like that album. Yeah.
That's the only
3.
time I saw them with LA Guns opening.
Yeah.
Yep.
3. Shake Your Moneymaker. Black Crows.
Oh, that's a
Nice.
great one.
Yep. 2. Cowboys from Hell. Pantera.
Nice.
And number 1. Rust in Peace. Megadeth.
Nice.
What an album. That's a. I know. I knew Joseph wasn't going to have that. So.
Hey, you just
know
gave
me.
us
You know me too well.
Yeah,
Hey,
I listened to that today right after I listened to Full Moon Fever. So I went from Tom Petty to Megadeth.
Yeah.
And I mean, man, just kicking off with Holy Wars. My God, man. Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Five Magics. Those first 4 songs, you're sold. You're done.
Smack
Oh,
it.
that's a great album.
That's a great
You got
album.
Tornado
I
Souls,
love Rust in Peace.
I do
Rust
too.
in Peace, Polaris right at the end to close it out. Man, what a badass song. What a way for Marty and Nick to join the band. I mean, it's in my opinion, I mean, which is probably the mainstream opinion, the best lineup for Megadeth, and this album just fucking rules. I mean, that's to quote Mark Alden Taylor, it fucking rules.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It does fucking rule. I agree with that.
All right, Mike, what do you got, man?
All right. This one was hard for me because there was, again, I mean, and Bill's already mentioned some of them, but my honorable mentions, I'm going to go from bottom to top. We got AC/DC, The Razor's Edge, Alice in Chains, Facelift, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck.
War, Scumdogs of the Universe, Dio, Lock Up the Wolves, Scorpions, Crazy World. Not one of my favorite Scorpions albums, but there's still some good stuff on there.
Mhm.
That was around the time that I kind of tuned out. And I know it has Wind of Change, but I'm not always the biggest ballad guy, and I know they got a lot of flack for that, but to me, that was truly a ballad from the heart. I mean, it was important to them, the breaking of the Berlin Wall. They were German. for
It
fuck's
It
sake.
wasn't a fake.
Still Loving You
it
was one of the
wasn't-
best ballads ever
but-
written.
Yes.
dude.
Yeah.
What you're
Yes.
saying there, it wasn't a fake ballad. It was actually they didn't write
It was
that to
from
make
the
money.
heart,
They
man.
just
It
wrote
was.
that because that's how they felt.
I'll
From
tell
the
you.
heart.
And they were
on that album-
and they were Germans, man. So that was
Yeah.
really
on
close
that
to
album,
them.
I'll take "Send Me an Angel" any day.
Oh,
over
great
it.
song. Great song.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Slaughter. Okay. Exhorter, Slaughter in the Vatican.
I thought you were gonna say Slaughter.
No,
No, fuck them. Trouble, the debut album of theirs, self-titled. King Diamond, The Eye, The Black Crow, Shake Your Moneymaker, Living Color, Time's Up,
Great one.
Prawn, Beg to Differ, Creator, Coma of Souls, Death, Spiritual Healing, Judas Priest with Painkiller, Queensryche, Empire, Anthrax, Persistence of Time, much to the chagrin of my friend Jerry,
Yeah.
Entombed, Left Hand Path, Obituary, Cause of Death, Helmet, Strap It On, their debut album.
Good one.
Primus, Frizzle Fry, Sacred Reich, The American Way.
You got me in a Sacred Reich. That band rules.
They are
Yep.
fucking awesome.
They are fucking
That's a
awesome.
good
And
album.
this-
I forgot about
Now
that.
these last ones were like really hard because any one of them could have been like Testament, Souls of Black, Slayer, Seasons of the Abyss, Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, Revolution. My favorite Suicidal Tendencies album of all time.
Second.
It almost made it to number one. And of course, this one was really, well, two of them were obviously Cowboys from Hell by Pantera, but Death Angel Act 3. Holy fucking shit. What a
good
great
album, too.
record. But I had to go with Rust in Peace. I mean, it's Megadeth's masterpiece. And when that record came out, the CD actually, I played the fuck out of it, man. I mean, but what a great, great year in music in general. But I mean, but especially metal, you know, for a metalhead, man, this was a great time. But even like you said, man, there was just so much great diversity and eclectic stuff that was going on during that time, which is why I still love the early 90s to this day.
Cool. All right, Andy, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I was just going to do my winner and my runner-up, but man, listening to Bill and Mike is so much fun, so I'm going to go through my list.
Oh,
1990, I don't have that. I don't have as many, but I do have Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. I remember when that came out. I absolutely loved it. We got on cassette, and my buddy had a pool table in the garage, and we would listen to that over and over and over. We were shocked when he left NWA, but this album's better than anything NWA did, including Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, I don't know if I go that far, but yeah,
I will. I will.
It is a great record.
Racer's Edge by AC/DC, Black Crow, Shake Your Moneymaker, Judas Priest, Painkiller. That was such a big surprise when they came out like that. And my number one is going to be the only album that I have by this guy. I wish I could put more on here for the whole decade because he had one of the best decades of his career. One with Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Ragged Glory.
I knew you were going to pick that, Randy. Andy.
Huh?
Randy.
I knew you were going to pick that, Andy.
Yeah, it's great, man. So it's my favorite of his of this decade, even though.
You know what? When we first started talking and doing shows together, I started listening to a little of this stuff, and I really started enjoying it. For some reason, I stopped listening to it, so I need to continue. You know, because I couldn't stand Neil Young for the longest fucking time.
Andy gave me this CD. I forgot to tell you, I did.
Still can't.
Well, it kind of grew on me a little bit. Some of the stuff grew on me a little bit. Just like Bob Dylan. For some reason, he's growing on me now.
Oh, I love Bob Dylan. I used to hate Bob Dylan.
I couldn't fucking stand him before, but I'm starting to like him now. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting getting faster and louder and softer. You know,
he can write some songs, man. But I don't know about as a singer. But yeah.
But Mark, that CD that I gave you, that one there, it's all this re-recorded this year.
Oh,
so
wow.
He redid all these songs again. So it's the same thing, just that he did it 30 years later, still with Crazy Horse. His voice is a little gristled, but his guitar solos are still.
Well, he's a little gristled himself. So.
Yeah. The dude's pushing 80, man. And
I know. He's still talking shit. I like it.
Yeah. So that's what that CD is. It's a re-recording of Ragged Glory.
All right. Mark, what do you got, man?
Okay, well, they said all these fucking blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to say three. Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, Revolution, which is my second favorite Suicidal Tendencies album. The debut has always been my favorite and will never change. I love that fucking album. Bad Company, Holy Water. Love that fucking album to this day. All these albums I listen to still today.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that tour with my number one band.
I love the Howl Area Bad Company. I thought they were good, dude.
With my number one CD of that era that freaking opened for Bad Company. I saw them twice. Damnyankees self-titled album. I love that album. I listen to it all the fucking time. I don't get tired of it. I've never got tired of it. Every song on there is a masterpiece to me.
Except for Come Again, I could never get into that shit. Everything else in that album.
No, you didn't like High Enough.
No, it was the other way around, Mark.
Yeah, I like High Enough. I always said I liked High Enough.
I thought you said he didn't like High Enough.
No, he said he loved High Enough.
Pile Driver kicks ass. Dude.
Come Again with that acoustic beginning, and it just goes yeah. I love that fucking song. All right, well,
it's
that's
a good album though. I think
album.
Don't Tread on Me is a better album, but
I don't think it's a better album, but I do like the album a lot. So I wish I was just reading today that Tommy Shaw said that Ted's personality ruined the band. So I don't know.
They got $1 million each not to do another album, dude.
And a lot of those songs went on Styx albums and Ted solo. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Nobody mentioned this metal masterpiece, really. Serious? No Prayer for the Dying. No Love for No Prayer for the Dying.
I like that album.
They got back to the
It's
form,
their
man.
best
They got
album
down
after the
to-
first 5.
They got back from the rawness, dude. Even though Adrian wasn't there, I get it. But I thought they were more raw. They got rid of the synthesizers and shit and just went back to fucking classic native. There are some duds in there, like Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. That's pretty shitty.
There's
song.
some
Mother
good
Russia.
songs, but
I like
man.
that song, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
all right.
Tail Gunner is a fucking great song. Holy smoke, man. I love this album, man. To me, it's back to old Maiden, dude. So good for them. You know, people make fun of Yannick Garris now, but he was fucking pretty killer on this album, dude. He really was. His solos are pretty good, I thought. So, yeah. Even though most of the time he does just dance around and play with his guitar, but still, when
he is
does
a
his
goofy
solos,
fucker. But hey, man, you know,
he tries to entertain. That's his shtick. I mean, if you're lucky, you might get catch a guitar if you go see him live. So.
Hey, happy retirement
or unlucky.
happy retirement to Nico McBain.
Yes,
Quick.
yes,
And
happy health.
Yeah.
Get health, man. Health is more important, dude. That's the most important thing for him. So I wish him all the best. But I love this album, dude. No Prayer for the Dying, man. All right, so 91 with Joseph.
Alrighty, my runner-up for 91, my favorite album from this band, who are definitely a metal band because grunge is not a real genre. Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger.
Nice one.
Nice.
Amazing album. Rusty Cage, Outshine, Slaves and Bulldozers, Jesus Christ Pose, and those are just the first 4 songs.
You know, Kim Tahill said a while back he thinks Slaves and Bulldozers is Chris Cornell's best vocal.
Amazing.
And
It very well might
hard
be.
to fucking argue with
It
that,
very
man,
well might
you
be.
know?
Yeah.
Searching with My Good Eye Closed, Room 1,000 Years Wide, just so many great tracks on this album.
Great
Awesome
album.
Amazing
Great
album. But my favorite album of 1991, the first possibly controversial pick on my list, Queen, Innuendo.
I love that
Great
album,
album.
dude.
They went out on a high note, man. I tell you what, this was their best album since the 70s, by far. I mean,
I would agree with that.
opening with the title track Innuendo, which is one of my favorite Queen songs. I'm Going Slightly Mad, Headlong, These Are the Days of Our Lives, The Hitman, and then closing it out.
The saddest music video ever seen was that video. These are
the days of our lives.
I didn't. Freddie just looked so bad in that fucking video.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was sad.
And then closing it out with the absolute epic, The Show Must Go On.
Yeah.
Just
And
an
if that don't
absolutely
hit you in the
amazing
fucking
song.
feel, especially if you listen to what the lyrics are and what he's saying.
Every time I hear that song, it
Yes.
kind of affects me, you know, knowing
Oh,
how
man.
sick he was and how great he could still belt it out, and you know, basically telling those guys, you know, to push forward. And yeah, it was such a great song. Yeah, good pick, Joseph.
All right, Bill, what do you got, man?
All right, 91. So, all right, here we go. Number 10, and I will preference this. This is the only thing I ever even listened to by this era of this band. Mark's gonna probably start screaming like a giddy little girl, but For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, Van Hagar, number 10, or Van Halen. Yeah. Number 9 is crap, I can't see. Oh, number 9 was Slave to the Grind, Skid Row. 8, Arise, Sepultura.
Can't wait to check them out, man.
7 was Blind, Corrosion of Conformity. 6, Sailing the Seas of Cheese, Primus.
Nice.
5 is Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Great album.
4, 10 by Pearl Jam.
Nice.
3, Bad Motorfinger, Soundgarden. 2, Temple of the Dog.
Good
Oh, I
one.
love
Good
that
one.
album.
Good one, man.
And I
one.
think
Amazing.
I think it might be some of Chris Cornell's best work.
Mhm.
As much
Reach
as I
down,
love
man. Reach down on
Soundgarden,
that album.
I love that album, Temple of the Dog. And,
Yeah, it is.
but my
That's-
number 1 is my second favorite Ozzy album, No More Tears. No More Tears by Ozzy. Wonderful album, man. I would listen to that all the time. It was very hard for me with those final 3 between Soundgarden and actually my top 5. I mean, I listened to all those albums so much. Temple of the Dog, Bad Motorfinger, 10 by Pearl Jam, and Blood Sugar Sex Magic. But man, No More Tears, from the title track to I think Road to Nowhere is one of my favorite Ozzy songs.
No More Tears is my favorite Ozzy album. Might be
That's his
controversial.
best album since Diary, in my opinion.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The production on No More Tears was just so fucking sonically perfect for me. I love it.
The only song I don't like on it is Zombie Stomp.
Oh, I love that song.
I'm not a huge fan of I Don't Want to Change the World.
Oh,
I like that song.
I like that song too.
I love Zombie Stomp, that groove that they have with the car. Dun, 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 dun,
And Zach is on fire in that fucking album.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I'm
Fuck
telling
yeah.
you, man.
Yeah, he is.
I just wanted to say Mark had put out there that this was Ozzy's Sgt. Pepper, and I do agree with that. This was one of his great.
I mean, it's his highest selling album. It's right there with Blizzard, man. I mean, I think it was what, quintuple platinum or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fucking huge,
on
that record, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen to it all the time.
Yeah, it's a good album.
All right, so we're at Mike, right?
Yes, sir. All right, man. Yeah, for me, this is the ones I got written down. Crowbar, Obedience Through Suffering. Typo Negative, Slow, Deep, and Hard. The Melvins, Bullhead. Metal Church, The Human Factor. Cathedral, Forest of Equilibrium. Overkill, Horoscope. Entombed, Clandestine. Motorhead, 1916. I don't give a fuck. Very underrated.
Amazing album.
Love that album.
Great album too.
Iced Earth, Night of the Storm Rider. Morbid Angel, Blessed Are the Sick. Carcass, Necrotism. Death, Human. Armored Saint, Symbol of Salvation. Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. This is the album that really made me a Skid Row fan, where I'm like, okay, I get it now. Like, I totally get it. And I was blown away when I heard, because I didn't expect it to be that heavy. And my buddy Brian, who I mentioned before, Big B, I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. He bought it, popped in, and I was just blown the fuck away, man. I was like, holy shit, this is Skid Row, And then Bad Motorfinger, masterpiece of an album right there. Blind by Corrosion and Conformity, and Sepultura's Arise. Had to throw that on there.
Check that album out.
Yeah, but I had to go with this one, man. No More Tears. I mean, I just had so many great memories of that album. I almost felt like, and don't get me wrong, I'm a guy who I liked Ultimate Sin. I've liked a lot of Ozzy stuff. So, but it was almost like this renaissance, man. It was just like everything was clicking with his band at the time. I mean, fuck, No More Tears, the title track alone is a fucking, and that's what I always loved about Ozzy. He always had that one track on his album that was the epic track. And he said that was something that went back to his days in Black Sabbath, which I totally agree with. Yeah, No More Tears, great record.
I'm getting tired of this poser copying off my list.
Yeah, right.
That's 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Fuck off, dude.
All right, Andy, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm surprised that my number one, well, maybe not surprised, but my number one hasn't even been mentioned in y'all's list. My number one for 1991, but I got Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears, Tom Petty's Into the Great Wide Open,
Great album.
Metallica Black Album, U2 Octane Baby, Nirvana's Nevermind, Pearl Jam 10.
Yep.
But my number one album for 1991.
Anything
thank you so
else,
much.
Master?
No, that'll do. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Master.
I'm gonna have to ask you for another one in about 10 minutes. and my number one, I love this album. I loved it when it came out. I still do. It's going to be Use Your Illusion Part 2 for that year. I absolutely love this album. I think it's fantastic, beginning to end, top to bottom. The performances are great. Slash is fantastic on this album. It's a little overbloated, but that's what you kind of love about it, in my opinion. So Use Your Illusion too.
You're making my blood pressure rise, Andy.
Yeah,
I prefer part one, honestly.
If they combined them, maybe they can get a decent album out of it. But I was never huge on that. I was very disappointed.
If we were in 1987, I was like autistic for Metallica and Guns N' Roses. By this point, I was fucking pissed.
Okay.
And I mean, it's hard because around that time, you got to remember, Axl started a fucking he started a riot in St. Louis. I mean,
Right.
he was universally
Montreal too, or was that
hated.
Toronto? Where was that? Montreal or Toronto?
Montreal,
I'm talking about the album.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
talking
know.
about his actions.
Oh,
I know. We're just talking.
I just
where James
thought it
Hetfield
was-
got burned up, and
I thought he got really pretentious when they got to that point. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that there's not some good songs on there, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I left that and the Black Album off on purpose for myself. But
Me too.
yeah, it's just, yeah, I was upset with my two bands at that point. So
Yeah, I still dig this album. What I didn't like about part one was that it was so much the sound of the same over and over and over. Part two had more flavor to it, a more diverse album. That's why I like two better.
I don't know, man. I tried. I was just so disappointed. I got both of them the first day they came out, man.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking November Rain. Check this song out. Oh man, that song sucks. It
I
still
love
sucks
that
today.
song.
I love
man.
that song. I think
Love
it's great.
that song.
Oh,
that
I'm
song.
sorry,
Thank you,
man.
Jerry.
Even Matt Storm said, "What the fuck is going on here?" It's like I came into this band wearing leather and fucking spiked heels and shit. Now I'm gonna show up to the video. There's people in suits. We got backup singers,
Yeah,
flute
I mean,
players.
Video.
Dude, and then nothing. There's nothing wrong with that song if he'd have gotten Elton John to sing it. Yeah, I said it. Axel, good songwriter,
Yeah.
like, but his voice does not suit that fucking song. It just fucking. I'm sorry, man. It's just me. I know my opinion's in the minority. I know everything. Okay, great, good for you. But I fucking hated it. I despised the video. It was overblown. It was pretentious. It was everything that, to me, Guns N' Roses would have hated. Just how many years
Exactly. That's
before
what I
that.
didn't understand about it.
And
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
were
like
they
it,
were
and
on
I
a lot
still
of
don't like
heroin
it.
before, so
But it was a 4-year span between those albums. You got to change.
I'm just
it, man.
saying, Andy, it just wasn't my. Okay, I liked it. I liked Lies, 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 but I just couldn't
Ugh.
get
My
into
part-
it, man.
you don't like
It's-
Lies?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it was
Oh,
a
really?
lazy album.
Yeah, I liked
It's
it.
not even an
I
album.
mean, not as good as Appetite for Destruction.
Well, no,
but-
nothing
no.
they've ever done touches
No,
that.
nothing.
I mean,
No, nothing's going to touch.
And- and
I
don't
actually
get me wrong,
like
there are
Lies.
some
I actually
good
like
songs.
Lies better than that.
there are some good songs on both those records. I think
Yeah.
if you take, and again, this is all subjective.
Of
I know
course.
there's some people that feel like GNR can do no wrong. Hey, good for you. That's cool. I
I'm
mean, it's
not
all.
one of those people.
I know you're not. But if you took the best out of both albums, you could make a really, really, really good record. Would it have been as good as Appetite? No. But that's just
Yeah.
my opinion. I think it was very self-indulgent and you know, they're trying to like be the Stones and the Beatles, and you're
Like,
fucking not.
I don't hate.
And I don't know.
I don't.
You know what,
hate,
Joe? Joe mentioned he showed the Chinese Democracy album. I wanted to fucking hate Axl Rose during that time period, but I saw them live. I didn't see. I saw a video of them live, and holy shit, he was on fire in that fucking tour, man. And he got a kick-ass band he had for that tour, dude. I wanted to hate it so bad, but I couldn't, man. It was.
I don't
awesome.
like that album. I've tried to listen to it. I couldn't.
We'll try
stand it.
to. Now that's.
Oh man,
I
I
love
was,
Chinese Democracy.
to me it was just I don't know. It was just that I got. I don't like. It's definitely better than Use Your Illusion by.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. In my opinion, and this is probably gonna piss people off, but I just think GNR is very overrated.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I do too.
Mike.
They're
yeah,
living off
Tesla's
one
better.
album. They're living off one album.
Oh yeah,
basically.
oh yeah. I agree. They are overrated for everything that they're doing.
And that
better
one
than-
that one album is still selling out stadiums. So
I
Yeah,
get it.
fuck do we
I
know?
get it.
Yeah,
I look,
saw-
that's a,
All right, Charles. Oh, sorry.
What they should have
That's
done
See,
was just get back together and tour that one
God, I
time.
hate the argument.
It's been
so
going
much.
on for almost 10 years doing
Right.
this.
Right.
yeah, but they're still going out and doing 3-hour shows, which is more than most bands are
Yeah.
doing. So
I know.
That's true.
I
And
saw
they
them last
sound
year and they
great.
did a great show.
But
I-
I've seen them.
My controversial opinion on Guns N' Roses that spans like kind of everybody's opinions is this is a 12-song album, this is a 16-song album, or this is a 16-song album, and this is a 14-song album. They'd all be good as 10-song albums.
whoa.
You can cut 2 songs off this.
What
That is
songs
a hot
could you
take.
cut off
You
on
can
that?
cut 6 songs off this.
I
and
want
you
to
can
know
cut
what
4 songs
two
off
songs
this.
you could cut off Appetite.
Oh,
Yeah.
Think About You. That's
Think About You and
count out.
Anything
Absolutely.
goes.
Okay,
like Anything Goes.
that's
Oh,
cool.
I
I
don't
still
know.
like
Yeah,
them,
that's
but yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Just Think About You is the only song I don't like from that.
Think About
fucking
You
album.
or
Everything else I like.
either that or Out to Get Me. I'm not a huge fan of Out.
That I do.
Oh, I like all of them.
Yeah, but I like them,
They're
but
not as
I
good.
could see his point on those two songs. They
Yeah.
are the weaker two on that album.
No,
I'm of the opinion, and this is my Ian Wadley moment for the evening. Every album should be 10 songs. Every album should be 10
That's
songs.
not, I share that too. Absolutely.
And Joseph, I was looking, I was telling Mike today as I was going through these, and you'll see as we get further along, and you guys probably did too. You got into the CD era.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They
Again,
started getting longer.
30 songs between these two.
When I listened to Tom Petty, it was about 40 minutes. Then I listened to Megadeth, it was about 45. And then I moved up to my 94 album, which we'll get to. It was an hour long. I moved up to my 96 album. It was 2 hours and 12 minutes. I mean, for the whole thing. I mean, they just get longer through the CD era.
I want to
because
know
they
what that
can put more
96
music
album
on
is.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what it is.
I know what
Yeah.
it is.
But I'm not going to rag on anybody's picks. Because my 95 pick, y'all going to laugh at my ass. But that's
I would
cool.
never.
All right.
And I wasn't trying to argue and make a case of why I like this album. I just
Oh no,
No, Andy, it's fine, dude. You like what you like.
like what you
brother,
like, man.
You know.
Hey,
and
Andy,
love
I
that.
like
mean,
both those albums. I do like more than 10 songs off both those albums, though.
Oh yeah, I like
yeah,
both.
and Andy, I know my opinion is in the minority, bro. You know, I know it is.
You could take
I
my
mean, they
world
are
off
a
that album and be
beloved
a little
band.
better.
They are, and people love those records, man.
Isn't
I mean,
my world on that album?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, no, the easiest two song, the easiest. This one's pretty easy to make a 10-song album. My World's on it. The second version of Don't Cry.
Yeah,
is
you
on
can
it.
take both those off.
You can take those right off.
Both of those off.
You can take Get in the Ring off.
Oh, I love Getting the Ring. No, I love Getting the Ring. I love Getting
And
the
you can
Ring.
take off So Fine. There's the 4. You
I
can
like
just
So
easily
Fine
take those
too.
4.
I like So Fine too.
The rest is amazing. I love the rest of the album, but you can take those 4 and just like
I don't even remember which album was Civil War on.
The first one.
No, it's
I
on
hate
2.
that.
No, it's on
second.
2.
Oh, the second one. Yeah.
That
It's
fucking
the opening.
irritating
Drives
phone
me.
call.
It's the opening track
irritating,
on 2.
Hate it.
Knock on Heaven's Door. That fucking phone
That's on
call
this
in the middle.
too.
Hate that fucking.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum,
I
bum.
like Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Okay, I will say
I like the
when
original,
I saw
but
them
not that-
last year.
Anyway, we're talking way too
About-
much about
about-
this fucking.
Yeah, we are.
I know. Let's
half
move
an-
on, Jerry.
Hold
You're
on,
the host,
hold on.
bitch.
Hold on. About half an hour of the 3-hour show was Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Oh,
Oh
God.
wow,
That's torture. Everybody needs a piss break, I guess.
No,
I'm
they
not
didn't.
gonna
No, and it wasn't even that. It was Axel doing the hey for 30 minutes, and I'm not even kidding.
All right, where the fuck are we at, Mark?
Mark,
Okay. Yeah, I know. I picked this band a little bit later again. My honorable mention, you guys said a lot of great albums in 1991. I'm not going to go through those, but I like 99% of those albums you mentioned. But I'm going to pick Roll the Bones as my honorable mention. Love that fucking album. But I'm going to pick a pretentious band that everybody thinks is pretentious and you guys are fucked up in the head.
U2.
U2 Octung, baby.
Oh,
I
yeah.
listened to that fucking
It's
album
okay.
so fucking much in 1991. I
My
fucking
condolences.
love that is their Sergeant Pepper's. Is
That's
Octung,
actually
baby.
not a bad
Well,
album.
there's a
Really?
reason
Even the
why-
80s U2? You think that?
That
way?
is
Really?
their Sergeant Pepper's is fucking Octung, baby. You go,
well,
you
people,
talk to
people always say Sgt. Pepper. Sgt. Pepper isn't the best Beatles album. It's
It
like
isn't.
It's
It
like
isn't.
it's the weird mishmash of things,
isn't.
and that is Octoon Baby.
that is Octung, baby.
Yeah.
I
The
would
best
agree with
Beatles-
that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I
It's
see
like
that.
they went a lot of different styles on one album. That's why I think about Sergeant Pepper.
You wouldn't even think the Joshua Tree wouldn't be?
I
That's
love
probably
the
the most
Joshua.
popular.
No,
but the Joshua
Joshua
Tree's
Tree
not a
is really
mishmash.
good.
It's a
It's
very
not a
it's
mishmash.
very
It's very cool.
Yeah,
Very
similar.
straight ahead
Very
album.
cohesive.
I thought
the
I
three
thought-
singles all sound exactly the same.
I
on
thought
Joshua
when
Tree.
when they first started, man, they were raw and hungry. I thought they were pretty cool, but man, as time got on, they just lost me, man. They just got too, I don't know, what's the commercial or whatever.
Fucking
Well,
terrible.
Yeah, that song
I might
sucked.
have one of those albums that they lost you
But
on.
like the fucking oh God, one before fucking Joshua Tree,
October.
Unforgettable Fire. There's
Oh,
some good
Unforgettable
shit on there. There is.
I love
man.
that
After
fucking
that,
album, dude. I love that fucking
Man,
album.
I don't know. They just got too.
I wasn't.
They lost
and
some hunger or something.
Mark
in my
knows this.
opinion.
I've been doing
I don't
like a
know.
U2 kind of listen through. I picked up a bunch of CDs. I love Joshua Tree. I loved the early stuff. Unforgettable Fire, I was not a fan of.
Oh, really?
and
I
I
really
don't-
like that album. That's one
Well,
of the
I
ones
told
really
you.
liked.
Did you ever go listen
What
to that?
you said? Unforgettable Fire was the one that you said you didn't really like.
No, he liked
No.
that one.
Oh,
I don't like Octune Baby.
Joe-
I like
Oh.
everything up until Joshua Tree.
Did you go listen to the live versions of Unforgettable Fire? Like
Yes,
Bad?
I did like those more. Yeah,
Bad is way better live than on that album. Yeah.
I mean, just a song, "The Unforgettable Fire" is a fucking classic.
That is a good one. I've always loved Pride.
Wide Awake in America's version of Bad is like amazing.
Yeah, that's a good vinyl.
Yeah.
I have the CD of that EP.
Yeah. So, what's your take after Joshua Tree, Joseph?
I didn't get to any of those yet.
Oh, okay.
The only one I bought is Octoon Baby.
My take is pretty easy.
Hey, Zooropa sucks dick. I just got to tell you that. There you go.
Is that the one with that stupid discotheque song on it?
No, I like pop. I like pop.
What the fuck was that song all about, dude?
Hey,
come on, the
it's
video.
better. The thing is, it's better live. All those songs are better live.
Oh, don't worry, you guys are gonna get your chance to get back at me here.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, and this is something I never thought I'd say in my entire life. A band that I saw do a really cool version of Zoo TV live, Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh,
they did a really good version of that song.
I gotta
live.
go.
All right, Jerry.
Zoo Station.
Okay, Jerry, what's your next pick, man?
Well, I mean, this has my favorite song on it from these guys, of course. If surprise, surprise, Metal Church, The Human Factor, man. Date with Poverty is my favorite fucking Metal Church song. I love that fucking song, dude. You know, I go between this one and Blessed in Disguise. It's my favorites. I keep going back and forth, but they're definitely 1 and 2 in their collection, man. Solid riffs. Kurt Vanderhoof, man, one of the greatest fucking riff masters of all time, in my opinion. Just a fucking great album, dude. And still putting out great fucking albums, man, with different people, different lineups. Well, they've had this lineup for a while now, except for the lead singer. But for the most part, man, this band has always been solid throughout their career. As far as duds, I don't know. Maybe Hanging in the Balance is probably maybe their only kind of dud. I don't even that got some good stuff on it. But as far as them coming out with a total dud, they haven't yet, man. I mean, just solid fucking riffage, man. And we did a review on this on the Freeform Rock podcast. Check it out.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode. But anyway, that's my we talked 20 minutes about the fucking Guns N' Roses album. We're not talking anything about this classic. I'm just kidding.
You're fine, Andy.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, Guns N' Roses is a pretty controversial band if you think
They
about
are.
it.
I love you, dude. You know that.
Metal Church is just good. There's not much to say about it.
That's
good.
metal, man.
Right.
It's like I was talking about this album and I hear crickets on it. I'm like,
The only thing we could talk about, no, but the
Jerry,
one thing we
you
could
know
talk
what I
about
think
is how
about
underrated Metal Church are.
100%.
Right, you said that before, Jerry.
You know what I think about that album, Jerry? We did a review.
you guys are overcompensating now. Come on, man.
It's a good thing I didn't say use your illusion 1 and 2.
Hey, I like Use Your Illusion 1 better because it's
So do
got
I.
Dead Horse and Coma on it.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
all I got to say is if we want to really shorten this up, if anybody's got the spaghetti incident, just mark it the fuck off right now.
I'll do that right now. Okay.
Who would have that on there?
I don't even own the CD, and I own this.
Who would mention spaghetti incident?
Oh, Bushy
I hope
likes
not.
it.
Yeah.
Go whenever you're ready, Joe.
Yeah.
So for 1992, my honorable mention is an album that I've talked a lot about on this show and on Andy's shows before. Images and Words, Dream Theater, my favorite Dream Theater album. Amazing introduction to that lineup. I never count When Dream and Day Unite because it's not really, it's not like representative of what they.
I hate that debut
And
album,
so
yeah.
I consider this like their true debut.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
Great
I agree.
album.
Pull Me Under,
Yeah.
Metropolis, Learning to Live Under a Glass Moon. Just amazing stuff on this album. But my number one for 1992 is probably one of the tougher albums to sit down and listen to because it's just such an emotional experience to listen to this album. And it's an album that the singer especially just kind of poured his heart into and unfortunately ended up succumbing to the demons that he talked about a lot on this album. And that is the masterpiece that is Dirt by Alice in Chains.
Great album.
Just front to back, just emotion on this album. And one of my all-time favorite albums from any band.
It's a scary ass album. It
Yeah.
really is.
So
A great late night album. That's a late night album.
That's an album to smoke a huge doobie and some bong rips and just put some headphones on and just fucking melt to. Fucking
any album that starts with them bones and ends with wood.
Bookended so beautifully.
Yeah.
And in the middle, just some of the most emotional, heavy subjects. Just
Rain When I Die.
Yeah.
Down in a hole. Rooster.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Just
Godsmack. I mean,
his vocals on Rain When I Die. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was their perfect album. I mean, it's just perfect.
Yeah. One of the most perfect albums ever released. Jerry, you're on mute. Jerry, you're on mute.
Jerry, you muted yourself, bitch.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't really like the grunge, whatever you want to call it, back when it first came out.
It was just hard rock of the 90s.
Well, whatever
It was metal, dude. That was totally metal.
But I learned to really fucking love it, dude, and that's a great fucking album now.
Oh yeah, I remember when it came out.
It still holds up, dude.
Dude, that album is my favorite Alice in Chains album.
Oh yeah,
mine too. Mine too.
I mean, you hear the word dated thrown around a lot, but that album to me still sounds fucking just as amazing as it did.
Dude, what's my drug of choice? What?
It's probably around the year 2000, 2001. I really started to appreciate Alice in Chains, man, how great they are.
And that album has really gotten better with age.
Yes.
I agree.
Really has.
I agree.
And that
this has this to me has like the opposite trajectory of Nirvana. Nirvana,
it
every
didn't
year
age. It didn't age.
It does not age well to me.
Didn't age well at all.
I still love a lot of that Nirvana stuff, but it just does not age well.
Dude, Nirvana,
every year, this album especially just gets.
I think out of the four, Joseph, I think Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, they've aged like fine wine, and
exactly.
Nirvana and even Pearl Jam is kind of
that's because Pearl
really
Jam has
dated
like gone out of their way to distance themselves from what they were. Now they're just
a jam band.
They're Pearl Jam. They're their own thing over here that they don't want to pretend like they were wearing flannels and acting moody on stage when like the rest of them were. But to me, and I don't know if it's just that, of course, I mean, Alice in Chains is still out there representing, and Soundgarden was a more recent loss, but and I think it also comes back to musically, those are by far the two best of those bands.
Sure.
By far.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
hands
even
down.
close
and
to me.
when I brought up the Temple of the Dog, I think that and there was a statement that Mike McCready said a while back that Chris Cornell brought the best out in him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chris brought Mike McCready in, Chris brought Eddie in.
Mm-hmm.
They were nobodies because he wanted to pay tribute to his buddy, from Mother Love Bone, and he brought Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard in, who were his boys, and he brought those two guys in because they were going to do the Pearl Jam album, and I think it's the best work Mike McCready ever did is on that Dog album, and it was Chris Cornell that pulled that out of him.
100%.
And especially in the middle section of that album, it turns into a rock guitar solo clinic. Right.
That was never what Pearl Jam was.
My favorite song off that Temple of the Dog is Reach Down. I love that fucking song.
All right. Bill, what do you got, man?
All right, so I'm going to preference this. I turned 16 in 1992. This is probably, for me personally, this was the hardest one for me to do, and it's probably the greatest year of music in my life in a lot of ways. There were so many great albums, and I'm going through this, and I'm only going to list the 10 like I have been doing, but there's so many more I could have mentioned. But I was listening to all this stuff for the most. Well, I'm sorry, there's one on here that I learned as I got older, and I'll bring that up as I say it. But the rest of them, I was wearing this stuff out. Number 10 was the Southern Harmony and Musical composition by the Black Crowes. Great album. Number 9, Unplugged by Eric Clapton, the best-selling Unplugged album. Sorry, Jerry.
That's my favorite.
No, I like his Unplugged album.
Yeah,
I did like that.
It's great. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The best-selling one still. Number 8. This is the one album that I I can't believe I didn't know about it back then because I love this album now. I think it's the most underrated album by this band, and that's Dehumanizer by Black Sabbath. I mean,
Great one.
what an album, man. Dio's back,
They sound refreshed.
Phenomenal album.
Yeah.
Number 7, Meantime by Helmet.
Good one.
Used to wear that out all the time. 6, the Rage Against the Machine debut, the
Good
self-titled album. Love it. Love that. Number 5, I have Dirt by Alice in Chains. 4, La Sexoristo Devil Music Volume 1
too.
White Zombie. 3 is Countdown to Extinction by Megadeth for me. And then the top 2, and this was so hard for me between these 2 albums because I listened to them all the time. Number 2 was The Chronic by Dr. Dre. And number 1, we got the shirt on, boys. Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera. I mean, those 2, The Chronic and Vulgar Display of Power, I had a 1982 Mustang GT at the time with a pull-out Traco tape player in it. So I had both those on tape. Well, then when I got my CD player in my truck the next year, I made sure one of the first things I did was go get The Chronic and Vulgar Display of Power on CD so I could listen to them on my CD player. I mean, just love both of those. I mean, you're talking, look, Mouth for War, A New Level, Walk, Fucking Hostile, This Love, Rise, everything on this album. This album is the perfect metal album.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Michael say, I mean, I'm sure Mike's probably going to copy me again, but Mike will tell you, I think Dime said, didn't he get a tear in his eye and say we wrote the perfect album?
Did more. He broke down crying.
Yeah.
And I forget which, I think it was Vinny or one of them said, "What's the matter, Dime?" He's like, "This album's fucking perfect. We made a perfect album, big brother." And they did. They did. Yeah. I mean,
just phenomenal. I mean, they took what those other bands from the 80s were starting to lose, and they just grabbed the torch and said, "We got you. We got you, metal. We're putting you on our shoulders." That's what that album did.
They filled that spot that was vacated by Metallica. I'm going to say it.
Yep.
That's what happened.
All right, Mike.
All right. Okay. For one, I want to mention something that I'd forgotten. Somebody mentioned Smashing Pumpkins. I forgot 1991. Gish, what a great debut record.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking probably their heaviest record, in my opinion. It just had that perfect mix of like hard rock and metal with psychedelia. I fucking loved it and would get fucking baked all the time. All right, 1992. At the Gates, The Red Sky Is Ours, Tool, Opiate, Stone Temple Pilots, Core, White Zombie. This one was really high up in my list because I listened to the fuck out of this album when it came out. La Sexorcisto, Devil Music Volume 1. And that was kind of like the same thing with Guns N' Roses. We knew who White Zombie was way before they broke big. By the time they broke big, man, I mean, I still love the record, don't get me wrong, but everybody's like, White Zombie. And what pissed me off is just like Appetite for Destruction, we would try to turn people onto it and everybody just blow us off. And then 6 months later, I mean, and I'm going, whatever. So, anyway, not everybody, but Lysol by the Melvins, Urban Discipline, Biohazard.
Nice.
Rollins Band, Into Silence, Sodom, Tapping the Vein, Sleeps, Holy Mountain. If you love your doom metal, stoner metal, that's a must-have. Rage Against the Machine's debut album, Exhorter, The Law, Trouble, Manic Frustration, Ministry, Psalm 69. Holy fucking shit.
That album.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus built my hot rod.
Huh?
Jesus built my hot rod, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what a masterpiece. Body Count, their debut album. Holy fucking shit, man.
Right.
Obituary, The Incomplete, Helmet, Meantime. Are you fucking kidding me?
Great album.
Angel Dust by Faith No More. Blues for the Red Sun, Caius, Megadeth, Countdown to Extinction, Dehumanizer. Right there with you, brother. Way underrated Sabbath album. And then it was like neck and neck with these two. Alice in Chains, Dirt. but I had to go with fucking Vulgar Display of Power. Fuck you, Bill.
Told you he was going to copy me.
I ain't copying shit, bitch. We deliberately told each other, we didn't tell each other.
Change it to the Metal Bildo show right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You're already on my fucking coattails. Now you want to become me? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, what a great, just for all the reasons my co-host on the Metal Mike show said. I mean, it is a perfect metal album. I don't think you can deny that, just fucking phenomenal. And that's all I got to say about it. I mean, it's fucking Pantera. What else needs to be said? I know sometimes it's like trendy to kind of just, like minimize their accomplishments or disparage them. Like you're all edgy and cool. Go suck a dick. All right. I mean, look, you're entitled to your opinion if that's truly your opinion. Because I think some people just like to be contrarian fucks. Like my podcasting co-host.
Like people.
Yeah. I love Bushy, but there's times I'll even tell him, Bushy, you contrarian fuck. Because he'll just say things like, I'm just like, what? But anyway, I still love you, Bush. Anyway.
Hey, but I will give Bushy thing. I think he's telling you his real opinion.
You really think so?
I really think
you really think the Elder is his favorite Kiss number 2 Kiss album.
I don't think Bushy bullshits. I think he really believes what he says.
I'm not saying I guess
I don't think Bushy bullshits. I think Bushy drinks.
Yeah, I think he drinks, and I think it affects his judgment because
I don't think it affects his judgment because when he's sober, he says the same thing.
He's pickled his brain.
All right,
I love him, but come on. I mean, like, dude, look, if you like the Elder Kiss fans, because I know some of you out there do, fine. But is it your number fucking 2?
Fuck no.
Ghost of all time, number 2.
Hell no.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out.
Hey, Jerry loves that album.
Yeah, but it's not one of my favorites from him.
And which Sammy or Van Hagar album does Bushy thinks better than fucking?
Oh, geez.
Women and Children First. Not Fair Warning. He said Women and Children First. Better than OU8. He likes OU8 better than Women.
Better than Women and Children First. That's blasphemy.
Hey, listen. As a Sammy Hagar fan, me and Lee were going, what?
It's one thing if he would have said 5150 because I can half-ass believe that. But OU812
5150, you just made me throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, but like,
and this is coming from a guy. I live in the St. Louis area.
The way that people praise 5150.
I was
the way that people praise that album.
I hate it. I'll be right back.
I loved Sammy. Again, young age, got turned on to Montrose. Loved those first two records. Liked a lot of Sammy's solo stuff. And I still say heavy metal from Standing Hampton. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's fucking song rules. That riff, everything about it. I am not a Hagar hater, but I cannot stand Van Hagar. Like, they mutually neutered each other. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, man. Like, people want to defend that shit. That top 40. Fuck, it's garbage, man. It was like, I hated 5150. I was horrified by it. I'm still scarred by it. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought we were going to get heavy metal and Space Station number 9 and 3 Lock Box and fucking Rock Candy combined with Everybody Wants Some and Atomic Punk. And I'm
imagine, dude,
we didn't get that. We didn't get
what the thing is. Sammy wrote lyrics to what Eddie and Alex were making.
I'm not blaming Sammy. I blame Eddie more than Sammy. The only thing I blame Eddie for, or Sammy for, is going along with it. He should have looked at Eddie and said, "Look, Eddie, there's only one way to rock, and this ain't it."
I think with Sammy left Van Halen, he made better albums, but he did make some clunkers after that too. So,
Chicken Foot, that artist was the same.
Oh, I love Chicken Foot, dude. I love both those albums.
Neither artist was the same. Sammy never did anything after that. There was maybe a song here or there that really grabbed me. And Different Kind of Truth. The only reason why that album's as good as it is because it was songs that they wrote with Dave back in the day that they dusted off and put out. If not, I don't think Different Kind of Truth is as good. I'm sorry, man. Trying to recapture that old glory when you're older and you're just a different person. People evolve. And I just don't think that album would have been as good if it hadn't been all those older songs. Now, again, it's just my opinion, but that's how I feel.
I mean, just hearing Tattoo kind of, I think that's it. This is going to
Tattoo's the worst song
not,
off the album.
I
Jerry.
have not fucking. I listen to the whole thing all the time. I listen to it quite often, actually. I
Chinatown,
do
Stay
like
Frosty.
And
anyway,
God,
1992.
that god awful live album they did is.
All right, come on, Jerry.
Dude.
Keep it going, man. We're going.
I have to teach kids in the morning.
Mark, what do you got?
It's
Andy's go, Mark.
It's Andy's turn.
It's
Andy, why don't you go?
I'm just gonna cut.
Yeah, let's kind of let's whip through these guys.
My number one for 1992 is gonna be Rage Against the Machine. The debut album, fantastic, love it. The guitar work on here is fantastic. I know that Jerry, I understand what you're saying about Morello, but man, the first time that you hear him, it's fucking amazing.
It's nothing sounds like that.
That fucking wah pedal he uses in every fucking solo.
I love it.
I mean, were they? I mean, at the time, they fucking, they were impactful.
They were fresh
in their messages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't stand
completely unique.
And they only made 3 albums and 1 cover album. That's all they made.
Every one of Tom Morello's solo sounds the fucking same. There's nothing great or
listen to his albums with Chris Cornell. Audioslave, really good shit.
Yeah, you might like it better.
Audioslave is really
the
good.
first Audioslave album.
I like them all.
That's.
Oh no, I like the first Audioslave album.
Phenomenal.
Chris Cornell will make anybody sound good. So
except that hip hop album he made. But let's move on, Jerry.
Even that wasn't that bad. All right,
it was horrible. Oh, me? Okay, I'm just gonna say, Pantera, Vogel's Display of Power and Alice in Chains Dirt. But I want to go a different side because I listened to this album. I was getting really high in 1992, and fuck, the Beastie Boys, Check Your Head.
Great album.
Pass the mic. Oh my god!
Hard for me to leave off my list. Yeah.
The fucking Nooch where you had the Beastie Boys, they got it, and then fucking they went punk. It's like the Beastie Boys started showing they could rock on that album, dude.
They changed. They changed on that album.
They fucking changed. Even though Paul's Boutique is my favorite album, I like this album for the change they did. They brought the punk. They brought the rock into this album. So Check Your Head is 1992 for me.
Cool.
Good pick.
My 1992, I was a little kind of dismayed at the music scene at the time, to be honest with you. But I really started to get into fucking hardcore death metal, thrash and shit that time. And one band that I really loved, I don't know if you guys ever heard of them, was a band called Incantation. You ever hear of them? A real New York death metal band.
Yeah.
Onward to Golgotha, man. Onward to Golgotha, man. Great fucking album. I was best friends with one of their future bass players, Joe Lombard, who took his life, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude. Troubled. We won't get into that, but I really love this band. They're still around. They still make fucking great albums, dude. If you like, I know Mark don't like the quote unquote Cookie Monster fucking vocals, but
send me their stuff, bro.
I will, man. Absolutely, I do. I mean, no problem. But anyway, speed things up because I'm sure nobody really doesn't know about this band. Incantation, Onward to Golgotha is my 92.
Okay. Nice.
All right, 93, Joseph.
All right. So my one of the great joys of my life is to be able to say this before Mark does. My
I know what you're gonna say.
Honorable mention for 1993. Me and my amigos were down incognito. Winger Pull.
Great one.
Great album. Kind of like their answer to We're Not Just a Cock Rock Band. Blind Revolution, Mad, Junkyard Dog.
Not a bad
great
song
stuff
on that album. Dude. Not a bad
Probably
song.
My favorite Winger album. Their stuff after the first 2 albums is light years ahead of those first 2 albums.
I agree. We talked about this. Yeah, agree.
But my number one for 1993, in my opinion, and this might be controversial for one of these people more than the other one, because the other one really didn't do much in the 80s. By far, in my opinion, the best thing that either one of these people was a part of since 1979. Coverdale Page.
Great album.
Oh, nice.
Great album.
Good
Amazing
choice.
album.
Good choice.
I love this more than any Whitesnake album that ever came out.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. This is a perfect album. There's no such thing as a perfect
Love
Whitesnake.
Hunter slide it in?
No. It's got Jimmy Page. Come on.
And it's got Jimmy Page. and it's the best thing
I
Jimmy
agree
Page
with
has
that.
done since Enter the Outdoor. So I mean, Coverdale Page.
His Outrider album was very disappointing, man. I thought
was
that was gonna be
horrible.
better.
The best thing he did between those two was the Death Wish 2 soundtrack.
As much as I love the Coverdale and Page album, and I do, I have it and I listen to it a lot. I think David Coverdale is like trying so hard to be Robert Plant. Sometimes it bothers me. I mean, even more so than normal. I mean, so that's why I wouldn't call it a perfect album. I think Coverdale's been better on other things. Some of the stuff he did with Deep Purple and then some of the White Snakes.
Oh yeah, no, Burn is a better album than this.
But I mean that's a great album though. I mean, I'm not disparaging. I just thought he was really trying to be Robert Plant. You could tell he really wanted to be Robert Plant.
And the front sucked.
And to be fair, in 1993, he's probably sounded better than Robert Plant.
Sure,
did.
yeah. Yep. I would agree with that. That's why he was why Jimmy had him and not Robert.
All right, Bill, what do you got, man?
All right, 1993. So I was a senior in high school when this came out. So, or starting my senior year, junior to senior year. So number 10, Chaos AD, Sepultura. 9, Bloody Kisses, Typo Negative. 8, Houdini, The Melvins. Number 7, Transnational Speedway League, Anthems, Anecdotes, and Undeniable Truths. Clutch.
Yes.
Local band for me.
Yeah. 6, Verses by Pearl Jam. 5, They're All Gonna Laugh at You, Adam Sandler. Yeah, gotta get that on there, man. I listen to that a lot. 4, Doggy Style by Snoop Doggy Dogg, not Snoop Dogg, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Number 3, Get In Where You Fit In, Too Short. Oh, I still love that album. Love Too Short back in the day. Blowjob Betty, Better Blow Me Up.
I like
Number two and number 1 were hard for me here. Number 2, Undertow by Tool. I listen to that a lot. And number 1, Pork Soda by Primus. My favorite Primus album. I think it's their masterpiece. I love me some Primus, man. And I mean, you got Bob. Obviously my name is Mud. Mr. Crinkle's another great one. I've always loved Bob. Welcome to This World, DMV. Just great album. Les Claypool, amazing musician. So, and Larry Lalonde too. Don't forget Larry. Larry's a very underrated guitar player. So,
to go back to Too Short, I really was digging Born. It was Born to Mac, Life is Too Short, and Short Dogs in the House. Those 3 albums.
Yep.
Really loved.
Yep. Yeah. Too Short's the man.
Yeah, he was.
All right.
All right, Mike, what do you got, man?
All right, man. Again, Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, got that on there, here. I got Merciful Fate, In the Shadows, Cathedral, The Ethereal Mirror, Undertow by Tool. What a fucking amazing record that was. I Hate God, Take As Needed for Pain. Bloody Kisses by Typo Negative. I remember the first time I heard them, I was just blown away. Individual Thought Patterns by Death. Houdini by the Melvins. Listen to the shit out of the record. Heartwork by Carcass.
Yeah, good one. I had that
album.
Wolverine Blues by Entombed. This is where Entombed went from just being straight ahead death metal to what is commonly now known as death and roll, and I love it. I know some of the metal death metal pure, and fuck off, man, that album rules. Chaos AD, Sepultura, I mean, just a fucking great band. And of course Crowbar self-titled album, Pork Soda by Primus, which I should have mentioned, Sailing the Seas of Cheese and all that stuff too, because those are great records. But my album, the one I picked, man, believe it or not, Life of Agony, River Runs Red. I just think that album's a fucking masterpiece from beginning to end.
I should have mentioned that.
It's the best thing they've ever done. Now they've done some cool things since then, and I guess all right, Keith transitioned to Mina. Now Mina's transitioning back to Keith. So I'm like, cool, maybe he'll get that really deep voice because there is a vocalist. And again, this is a band that's very divisive among metal bands. I'm not a huge fan of theirs, but I like some of their stuff. I even actually saw them live and they were really, really good. The problem was they followed Anthrax, and it's like when you watch a thrash metal band do their thing, and then this band coming on after him, it was kind of jarring. But that's Volbeat. But that guy's vocals reminds me a lot of Keith's, but I just love this album. It tells a story. I mean,
hey guys, we got 7 years to go. We need to go.
and the one thing I wanted to point out is it's also, there's also some relations with with Typo Negative. Like some of the dudes that were in that band was in this band too, and you can definitely tell.
I'm just gonna say right now, Mike, you guys need to cut down your honorable mentions. We need to keep going, man. This is gonna be a 3-hour show now.
Okay, that's cool.
All right, just saying. And Joseph's got to get to bed. So where are we at, Jerry?
Bill.
No,
wait.
No, I already went.
Andy, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, my favorite album, 1993, was the debut album by Counting Crows, August and Everything After. I thought this was a perfect album for beginning to end. A really good, moody album. Really nice winter album, actually. I like to listen to Counting Crows in the wintertime. I've got certain bands I like to listen to during certain seasons of the year, and Counting Crows is my winter band.
I really like that song, "A Murder of One," on that album. I think that's a great fucking
I listened to that album a lot, Andy. I loved Counting Crows back then. Those first two albums.
The first two. After that, I dropped off big time.
Yep, me too.
Talk about a storyteller, though, man. That guy can write some fucking story, lyric wise.
Recovering
All right.
the Satellites was the second album. It was really good.
All right, Mark, what do you got, man?
1993. I'm glad I'm the first one to say this because I think Mike might have it. Rush Counterparts. And yes, this was a return to guitar orientated fucking Rush. And it's fucking amazing. It's a fucking great album. There's I think Nobody's Hero, I think it's my least favorite song of that album. It's kind of weak, kind of slows down the album, but it's top to bottom. I like the whole album.
This is the album that got me back. This was the album when I heard it, I was like, holy fuck.
I never left, Mike.
Well, that's good. That's you, bro. That's you. Okay.
Sure,
I fucking bail.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Bitches.
So it's my turn?
Whatever.
Yep.
I'm just fucking with you. I love you guys. Come on.
Individual Thought Patterns by Death, man. What a great fucking album this is, dude. What a great fucking band, dude. Solid. I got the version with the live Germany consonant, which is freaking pretty cool. Great band, and we'll keep it going. Joseph, number 94, man.
Cool.
Or 1994.
1994.
1994.
Number 94.
My runner-up for 94 is an album that I've talked about a lot lately. Really, really great concept album by Marillion, Brave. Really, really great progressive rock concept album. Probably my favorite album from this band. Really, really great album. But my favorite from 1994 is the best album from a band that I've really, truly despise most of their discography, and that is Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Just
all right.
The self-titled 94 from Motley Crue is an amazing album.
Fantastic.
John Crosby was the best thing that ever happened to this band. Haven't done anything remotely as good since, and this is the best thing they had done in 10 years at that point. So Motley Crue, self-titled.
Good deal. Yeah, I agree. It was one of my honorable mentions. I won't mention as many as I have. I did want to mention one is country band that I had as my number 10 was Not a Moment Too Soon by Tim McGraw.
Good album.
I listened to that a lot.
Yeah.
Love Tim McGraw. And then The Hell Freezes Over with the Eagles. I listened to that a lot back then. And Korn. And then I'll just do my top three here then. So Dookie, Green Day.
Good one.
2 was Far Beyond Driven, Pantera.
Good one.
Again, that's the last Pantera album that I was really into. And then my number 1, a little different. It's a blues covers album, From the Cradle by Eric Clapton. I listen to that album so much. His vocals on that are different. I mean, you had so many great blues covers, you know, from Hoochie Coochie Man, Blues Before Sunrise,
It
all
hurts
these
me too.
great, so many great blues songs. Just
It was the guitar playing that you've been wanting to hear for 15 years.
yeah, his
delivered it.
playing is awesome on
Yeah.
it. His vocals are awesome on it. It's a fantastic tribute to the blues.
Yeah, and that Unplugged album was a really big rebirth for him. Into
For
the
sure,
90s.
for sure it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
Okay, man. For me, my top 3 honorable mentions would be Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance, Machine Heads, Burn My Eyes, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven. But I picked this album because I played the fuck out of it, and it was actually a 2 dudes from 2 different bands. Well, it involved the Cavalera brothers, and then you had Alex Nino from Fudge Tunnel, and that's Nail Bomb, point blank, man. Just fucking industrial metal masterpiece. That's all I got to say, man. Check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Andy.
Yeah, I just want to mention Weezer, the Blue Album.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
That was on my list too. I cut down, but yeah, Weezer is great.
But there's a reason why I didn't pick it, and I'll talk about that later. But my number one for this year, 1994, right? 94.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Vitology by Pearl Jam.
Great album.
Fantastic album, beginning and I think it's they took so many chances. This year, I kind of had 1994. I was going back and forth. I said, really? I'm going to not pick Vitology because this is so good.
Super Unknown was there too. I
had that on my list too.
It's so diverse. So Vitology, I think, is their best album they ever made. And also, it starts off with Spin the Black Circle, which is where I got Black Spin the Circle from.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. That's the last Pearl Jam album. I went out to buy that on day one, and I like it. I'll always think 10 is their best.
The last 3 Pearl Jam albums are rocking. You should check them out, though.
They turned into more of a jam band for me.
No, not the last 3. It's old school, like Mind Your Manners from Lightning Bolt. It's punk rock shit, dude.
Oh,
they went back to the fucking rock. The last 3 albums,
I don't hate Pearl Jam. I just look at a lot of the stuff after Vitology is just background music.
Dude, the last Pearl Jam album was like total no jam band, just fucking rock, straight out raw shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Mark.
Oh,
sorry,
Mark.
my bad.
Well, yeah, Pearl Jam Vitology is a great album. Soundgarden, Super Unknown, but I gotta go with my boy Tom Petty. Wildflowers, man.
That's another great album.
Great album.
My favorite song by Tom Petty of all time is called "It's Good to Be King."
Yeah,
I love that song.
That song it's so fucking mellow, and it just has great lyrics. It's a long fucking song, but I fucking love it. Wildflowers
live too. His live version.
God,
that's a great choice. Mark.
Live at the Fillmore box set by Tom Petty and Heartbreakers '97. You need to get that box set. It's so good.
A hidden gem on that album is "Time to Move On."
Time to move on. Time to get going.
Yeah.
So that I gotta pick Tom Petty, man.
Why
did you pick Full Moon Fever? Because I love Wildflowers better than Full Moon Fever.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I think it's richer.
Yeah,
it's a richer album. Yeah.
Even though Idiot produced it. There you go.
You mentioned Super Unknown. I'm picking Super Unknown, man. To me, this is Soundgarden's best album, in my opinion.
No.
Last band I was in, we did My Wave and Spoon Man. Great fucking songs to jam with if you're in a band. There's not a bad song on this album.
But my favorite Soundgarden song on there is Fell on Black Days.
Fell on Black Days. What a fucking classic.
Fell on Black Days.
Killer jam, man.
Like Suicide. I mean, it's loaded with great
Chris Cornell's vocals are misleadingly hard to do. Yeah. I know this by example. When I was in college, I was in a jam band class in college, and we did Black Hole Sun, and I had to sing it. It is misleadingly hard to sing. It doesn't sound like it would be. It is very hard to sing.
They use all these fucking weird time signatures in their music, man. That's what
it's like man. The breakdown in Black Hole Sun is in a weird time signature. I think it's in 6/4. Like it's weird.
And he
really
sang so effortlessly. Like even when you watch him live, it's like these giant voices coming out of him, and he doesn't even look like he's barely opening his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
I
chilling.
mean, he sings Nothing Compare to You from fucking
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor. He sings it fucking so good. It's
Bill,
like,
Billy, have you heard his version
Billie
of
Jean,
Billie
when he does-
Jean?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, he's
I like
Thank
it
You by
better than
Led
Michael Jackson.
Doing Thank You from Led Zeppelin. He was fucking awesome
Right.
singing that song.
Yeah.
I still like Sinead O'Connor's version better.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor.
no.
That's a great version. I love
Oh,
it.
her
Yeah.
voice.
Oh, her Saturday Night Live episode was still fucking
Yeah.
Oh, that's
classic.
so
I don't
good.
care what anybody says.
And she
That
was
awesome.
right.
Anyway,
What-
95. Joseph.
Never mind. I'm not going to talk to you about
Yeah,
that.
we're not going to get into that one, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
You should know better with who you have on your panel.
I just said she was right. That was it.
Yeah, but I know what
you didn't need to. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I just said it was epic. I didn't say it was good or bad.
Yeah, I
said
know.
it was
You
fucking
didn't say
epic.
anything, Jerry.
Yeah.
My runner up for 1995, Kansas Freaks of Nature, their comeback album. Really, really great album. No one ever talks about. Has some really great songs on here. Kansas has a really great deep discography, in my opinion. People don't know their later stuff. They definitely should check it out. But my number one for 1995, my favorite later day AC/DC album, Ball Breaker.
Oh, Bob.
Okay.
Just an amazing album. Hard as a Rock, The Fuhrer, Honey Roll, Hail Caesar, Whiskey on the Rocks. Just some really, really
That was
great tracks
95.
on
I thought
here.
that was later.
Yeah. No,
What's
1995.
Ball
It's
Breaker's
so
a great
crazy.
album.
That is the only AC/DC album I don't own. And I
That's
don't
a great
know why.
album, man.
But that's the only one I don't have.
That's a great one.
The
man.
return of Phil Rudd to the lineup. Great album.
I got to get it. I really do.
You do.
I just don't. Yeah.
All right. Bill?
All right. I'll just do my top five. So Osmosis by Ozzy. 4 is Clutch, the self-titled Clutch album. Number 3, Astro Creep 2000, White Zombie. Number 2, the Alice in Chains self-titled album. I love that
that's
album.
a great
The
record.
And then
three-legged
number
dog.
1,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
three-legged dog, yeah.
Yeah.
And number 1, an album that I didn't listen to at that time, but I listen to it now and I love it, which is NOLA by Down. What
That's
a
a great album.
amazing
Amazing album.
album. I mean,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Huh? What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Would you say? Yeah. Yeah, Mike's gonna be copying me again, I'm sure. No.
Motherfucker.
But no, what a phenomenal album.
Hey, Mike, Jerry does that to me all the time, so it's cool.
I've
Yeah,
never heard. Yeah. Jerry, you like Oingo Boingo and Duran Duran? I didn't know
I
that.
fucking love them. They're the best fucking two bands to ever exist, man. They should be played on my metal station all the fucking time because they
Hey, I
fucking rule, man.
played them a shit ton on that metal station, dog.
Yeah, I know you did, Mark.
That's the joke he's making, Mark.
I know. Hey,
I
I'm
like
proud
maybe-
of
I
it
like-
because
I like
I gave them some fucking left turns, man.
Well, when you got to what Bushy was playing, maybe it's
Hey,
I understand a little
I
bit.
never
there.
played Debbie Gibson, bitch.
I don't care,
That's
man.
true.
Bushy
I
opened
turned
up a
Bushy
can of
on one
worms.
time and heard Mbop by Hanson and was
I
like,
never played that either.
I like maybe 2 or 3 songs from Duran Duran, but they can go fuck
Yeah,
themselves.
you're on crack.
Anyway, all
But,
right.
however, with that being said, who was it? We're on Mike's turn
Mike.
now?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on, guys. Fucking stupid. All right. Anywho. Oh, fuck it. So, all right, man. We are 1995. This is what I got. I mean, it's pretty extensive. But these were the albums that I was really listening to a lot. Crowbar's Time Heals Nothing. Sepultura's Roots was a huge album for me at that point in time. Dopes to Infinity, Monster Magnet,
I had that down. And Roots.
and Clutch is self-titled, but I got to go with Down, NOLA, because I played the fuck out of that album when it came out.
You're probably the reason why that's my number one album. I mean,
I know I am.
you played
You're
it
welcome.
for me, and I mean, just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, you're
Well,
a COC fan, you're a Crowbar fan, you're a Pantera fan. You gotta love it.
Yes, sir. And I do.
All right, Andy, what do you got, man?
Yeah, an album that you hate, Jerry, but I absolutely love.
I do like music, guys. I swear I do.
Do you? You don't like Oingo Boingo? Fuck off. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's not music.
Oh, don't worry. You guys are gonna my pick here. You're gonna fucking laugh your ass off when you see my pick here for 95.
What's Andy got?
I might be Jerry. I think I might know. But my number for 1995, I didn't even have honorable mentions for this year because I knew that this was going to be my number one because it was so epic. Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy, and the Infinite Sadness.
That's a weird cover.
Good album.
Good album.
That's a weird cover, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Very good. That weird whatever angel person on the front or something like that.
Right. Whoa. That is over there. I took out the little booklet that's inside. That's the problem. All right. Yeah, that's all. But Melancholy and Infinite Sadness is my favorite album of 1995. Yeah.
All right, Mark, what do you got, man?
Of course, I didn't pick for Unlawful Common Knowledge because I had to go for this one. I think this album gets maligned a lot.
You went for the worst one. Cool.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, dude. I never did. I bag on Sabotage? No, I didn't. But like in Van Halen, Balance, Aftershock, man, that's one of the greatest fucking Eddie riffs of all time. And my honorable mention is Filter Short Bus. There you go.
I like
Filter's a solid band, dude. Filter's a solid band.
I could have seen them open for Jerry Cantrell in February. Mm-hmm. Never seen Filter live, so they're going to be opening for Jerry when we go.
The guy can write lyrics, man.
All right, so it's my turn.
Good album.
All right, this is probably where my cred goes down the shitters, but I don't care. I absolutely fucking love this woman. I love this album. I don't care what anybody
Alanis Morissette.
This album fucking rules, dude.
What is it? I can't see it.
Jagged Little Pill.
Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a good album.
It is a good album.
Jerry, it is a good album.
There's a fucking
I listened to the shit out of it back.
Awesome live, fucking great fucking performer, great voice. I can see why her voice may get on somebody's nerves every now and then with with that weird shit she does with her vocals. I get that.
Got on mine.
Niners suck.
With that being said, she's a very talented lady.
Fucking, I love this woman. Always have. I don't know why, because I'm not into this, female angst type of music and stuff. But absolutely, actually, this is probably the only album she's like that. The rest of her albums are kind of mellow in comparison. So,
I listened to that a lot back then, and then I got away from it. And here lately, I've been kind of starting to dig some of it again.
Hey, I got into that album like 20 years later, dude. I didn't like it at all when it first came out.
An album that was predicted to sell just 1,000 copies when it was first fucking coming out, dude. Just 1,000 copies, and it fucking was bombastic, dude, that year, dude.
Yes, it was.
I think it was the song like Uninvited from the City of Angels.
That's another great fucking tune.
Yeah,
dude.
that's a song that I said, oh God, I need to go back and listen to her. And I like her because of that song. I do give you shit for that, Jerry, because I want to joke with you, but she is really a good artist.
Well, I don't. You can give me shit all you want, dude. I fucking love that album, dude. Take away my metal card if you want, but
well, you like Ghost,
like Mike said, yeah.
No, that was on my list of concept albums when we did our top 10 concept albums.
Nice.
That was on my top 10.
Anyway, I'll show it one more time because it fucking rules.
It does. I still got
all right, 96, Joe.
All right. So my honorable mention for 1996 is, in my opinion, the best album this band did after 1974, and that is Deep Purple's Perpendicular. First album with Steve Morse in the band. Really great album. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like screaming. Just some really great stuff on that album. Like I said, in my opinion, the best thing they did after Burn.
Ian Pace said that was his favorite Deep Purple.
It's amazing album. But I got to go heavy on this one. Great Southern Trendkill.
That's my favorite Pantera album.
Really? So good.
Yeah.
Floods.
Oh, that's surprising.
Suicide Note.
It's the hardest album they ever did.
Oh, by far.
So love it.
Drag the Waters. Just so many great songs on this album. So that's my number one.
I left it off my list, Joseph, because I like it now. But when I got that right out the gate back then, popped it in, and I quit listening to Pantera.
I didn't listen to it back then.
Sucks.
I listened to it later.
I couldn't take it. And now I get it. It was so far ahead of its time. so far ahead of its time. And I see the brilliance of it now. And when you're talking about tens and floods, they're phenomenal songs. But yeah, it ruined me on Pantera at that point. So that's why I left it off there. Not that I don't think it's a great album, because it is. It is a great album.
Cool. All right, Bill.
Yeah, just a couple. I'll do top five, but I had a couple other ones. I wanted to bring up a couple unplugs because we talked about that. Alice in Chains Unplugged and Kiss Unplugged. Two of my other favorite unplugged albums from
great,
that time.
Man.
And
picks, bro.
And then other country album that was lower on my list was Blue Clear Sky by George Strait. I love George Strait.
That's a great album.
Yeah, and then my top five: October Rust, Typo Negative. 4 is Wise Blood, Corrosion of Conformity. 3 is Enema, Tool. 2, Enema, whatever, Enema, whatever. Tool. And then number 2, Evil Empire, Rage Against the Machine. And number 1, we're going rap with the greatest rapper of all time, All Eyes on Me by Tupac. You know, he passed away later that year. That's a double album. That's what I was talking about. I was listening to today too, you know, and with stuff like Ambitions as a Writer, just what a lyricist. And he was so prophetic in the fact that he's always talking about his own death, like he was witnessing it in so many of his lyrics, and then he gets shot later that year. So yeah, that's my number 1. All Eyes on Me, Tupac.
It's weird because I love rap in the 90s. I absolutely love it, but I never got to Tupac. I just
really,
yeah.
Oh, he was everything to me at that time. I was listening to him all the time.
He was for a lot of people. He really was. I just couldn't grasp where he was coming from.
I just could not get into rap, man. I tried to listen to a lot of it, man. I just doesn't really appeal to me, man. Some of it's all right.
But, we need to do NWA so you can listen to Straight Outta Compton. I think you like that, Jerry.
All right, Mike, what do you got, man?
All right, man. I do want to revise something. I fucked up earlier. I mentioned this album in 95, but that's because I had the list of 95, 96 together. And that would be Root Sepultura. That came out in 96.
Yeah, I got
that. And then, of course, Great Southern Trendkill. And then Tool Enema. There's so many, but those are the ones that come up. But for me, and this is probably going to be controversial to some people, but I don't give a fuck, man. It's the best thing him and his band ever did. And, he's been really, really, really hit and miss with me ever since. But Marilyn Manson, Antichrist Superstar, I just think that album is a fucking masterpiece from beginning to end. It just fucking, fuck off, go suck a dick.
I've hated that dude since the first
time I saw it. I have to admit, we did a review. We did a review.
Jared,
we did a review
that
lately.
Review isn't out yet.
Hold on, shut up. It wasn't awful. That's all I'm going to say.
Asshole, you just gave a spoiler.
I mean, I loved it at the time, man.
You and Dave, his older brother, he would play that stuff all the time, and I never.
But Tool's Enema would be real close. Like I bought both those albums at the same time on the same day, and I kept going back and forth on those two. So anyway, that's my pick, man.
All right, Andy's gone, so we'll go with Mark.
1996.
Yep.
I just have one. Stone Temple Pilots' Tiny Music Songs from a Vatican Gift Shop.
Good album. Good record.
I love that fucking
their worst album, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, number 4 is worse.
I like number 4.
Yeah, I never mentioned them on any of my list, but I was listening to a lot of that.
Great band, though.
Dude, that is one of the. I love that album. 96. This is when it started getting slim pickings for me. So I'm just saying, I
started changing. You were right. Mark, music started really changing around this time.
Yeah, and it was kind of hard and it started going dull. It was going like hair metal copying each other. Like the pop rock was like sounding like everything else. It was like the same. It was like nothing.
My list gets pretty eclectic at this time too, as I'm looking at stuff. But it was.
But Mark, again, you got to admit that's the stuff that you were listening to.
Yeah, dude, I was 26
Not
at that
necessarily
time.
what else was going on in music at the time, because I
But
think
the
there's a
thing,
lot of
but the
other
thing
stuff
is,
going on in music
I
at
was
the time.
26 at the time. The thing is, at this time, from 94 to 96, it was kind of weird for me because I was watching my grandma with Alzheimer's. So it's like I had to pick what I could get. I had to watch what MTV. I didn't have much money at that time. So
Right.
I had to like pick and choose what I wanted to get. It's like I wasn't working. I was watching my grandma and actually my mom at the same time. So between 95 and 99, until I started getting money again, music was like I wasn't hearing it at that time, basically.
You were busy.
I was
Yeah.
busy.
What did you pick, Mark?
I picked Stone Temple Pilots' Tiny Music from a Vatican gift shop.
I saw that tour. It's a very good album.
Yeah, I love that album.
All right, Andy, what do you got, man?
Oh yeah. This is a very important album. In fact, not only is it my favorite for 1996, but it's in my personal top 20 of all time, actually. And this is the reason why I did not pick the Blue Album by Weezer, because I picked Pinkerton.
Okay.
By
Nice.
Weezer.
Good
That's a
album.
good album too.
Yeah.
Fantastic album. I absolutely love this from beginning to end. Really good closer with Butterfly. Really good starter. Tired of Sex.
What's funny
this
though,
is-
that album was controversial at the time. I know
Oh
some.
yeah.
What did you think of it at the time? Did you
Oh,
like it?
oh, I loved it. As soon
Yeah,
as
same here. I thought it was great. I didn't
Let me
understand why
tell you.
people were freaking out over it.
there were
Now
no
it's considered.
like the best album in there, but
It is.
but it's kind of when the computer started coming out and the wide web or whatever it was called back then, and my friends in school, they printed out the lyrics off of. We're like, where did you off the computer? What? And we would go to the lyrics and hear
The
this
World
album
Wide Web.
over.
The
It was
interweb.
so good.
Yeah, that's
you
where
know?
www's when dot whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old
So-
dial-up connections.
I absolutely love that album, and I still do. And in fact, on Black Spinner Circle, we did a deep dive, me and Al, and we
Cool.
did track by track for that
Awesome.
album.
Oh, okay.
I have to
Yeah.
check it out, man.
So it's a very good, it's a very important
It's
album.
on your YouTube channel, I'm assuming, right?
It is. It
I'll have
is.
to check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah. Great pick. Great pick.
All right. 96, it was the last few years were kind of weird because I was raising my daughter and I really wasn't really getting into new music at the time or anything really. You know, I look back on some of the albums now and there was some good stuff back then, but back at the time, I didn't know that. I was getting more into classic rock again, like Boston and shit like that back in this time period again for some reason. But like I said, I really wasn't getting into what was coming out and what's new, what's this, blah, 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 blah. But I heard this band, and I thought after this first album, these guys would blow up and be monsters, but they disappeared. They did a good cover of a David Bowie song after this album called Heroes. But this album I thought was awesome, dude. Bringing down the horse from the wallflowers. man.
Wallflowers.
I listened
thought
to
they
that
did-
a lot back then. I don't go back to it now.
It's the only one because after this, I thought they were just terrible after this album for some
Yeah.
reason.
I
But,
agree with you, Jerry.
but I thought after this, man, that album, this band's gonna fucking take off. But
You know what?
man,
Yeah.
they went down pretty quick, man.
My
But-
funniest thing when I think of the Wallflowers, my funniest thing is I was listening to Howard Stern when he was still on, terrestrial radio and good, and he was talking. He was a MTV Music Awards, and he's interviewing Jacob Dylan, and he's going, "So, you got a really good voice. You're a good singer. Could your mom sing? Did you have an aunt or somebody that could sing in the family? Was there anybody that was a good vocalist in the family?" And he's just sitting there, and you can tell he's not humoring this. And funny, Howard goes, "Because your dad sucks. He can't sing a lick." And Jacob Dylan got up and walked away. It pissed him
It's
off.
funny about that is Bob Dylan's been on the show a couple of times recently, and they talk
Really?
about how he loves Bob Dylan now. I listen to Howard all the time, so yeah.
Yeah,
Same thing with Neil Young. He loves
Howard.
Neil Young too. No, he's
I
not.
mean,
but he's-
Neil Young's been on there several times lately.
he's got a pretty cool cast with him though. He's got some fucking characters working for him. I'll say that much. But
Yeah, but I was talking to my mom the other day about Howard Stern, about what a great professional interviewer he's turned into.
he has
really
a pretty
has.
good interviewer.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Always has been.
Yeah.
And people don't like his voice. I think he's got a great radio voice.
Oh yeah,
He
I
does.
have no problem with his voice. But back to that album, 670 Heartbreak, One Headlight. There were some really good tracks on there.
Yeah. I like that first album.
Three
and after that was
Marlenas.
horrible.
That's a great tune.
Yeah, it's a
just
good
love
song.
great
And
tunes.
isn't The Only Difference also on that album?
Oh, Difference. Yep, is on that
That's
one.
a
Yep.
good song too.
But then their second album came out. I forget the. It was just,
You know, it was a good
was
good
bad.
band that back then. I didn't pick any of them. Dishwalla.
eh.
Dishwalla made a lot of great albums.
But I did like the Wallflowers
Alright.
cover of Heroes. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
from
that
that
Alright.
horrible soundtrack with fucking P Diddy
Godzilla
doing-
soundtrack.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
All right. 97, Joe.
All right. So my runner-up for 97 is Bruce Dickinson, Accident of Birth. My second favorite Bruce Dickinson solo album. I prefer Chemical Wedding. Great, both great albums though. But my album of the year for 1997 is Album of the Year.
Oh, good
Faith
album.
No More, Album of the Year. Really underrated Faith No More album, in my opinion. Mark, put your tongue back in your mouth. Last Cup of Sorrow is a really great track.
Yes.
Mouth to Mouth, Ashes to Ashes, Got
Yep.
That Feeling, Paths of Glory. Just a really underrated later era Faith No More album. Just a really great album. That's my
We
pick for
did
1997.
do a review on Freeform with Lee on that album. I think I liked most of it.
It's a good album, Mark. It's a
I
good
I
album.
like a lot of their stuff.
And I was like, it was like the Limp Bizkit album. Why do I like this?
It's a good album.
I
Good
kind
album.
of agree. He was not over singing on that album.
I like all of his different voices.
I
Yeah.
don't. I don't like over singing.
It was in my top 10.
It was in my honorable mentions as well.
It's in my top 10, Joseph. Yeah, great pick. Yeah, his couple that I want to mention, do my top 5 is, and then I'll do my top 5 is Whatever and Ever Amen by Ben Folds 5.
Oh yeah.
I like Ben Folds. Always have. So I wanted to mention that one. And then another big one was Get Some by Snot, because it was
Oh yes.
that album. I mean, so sad, tragic what happened to Live
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah, it was.
And then
That
another
was
one
a
I
bad-
had in what Andy?
That was a badass album. That's
Yeah,
the
it
one
was.
with a bulldog on the cover.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
Boxer.
Yeah, Boxer.
His-
Yeah, sorry.
His dog,
But
which
yeah.
also died in a car accident with him. And then another one was My Way by Usher. I listened to that a lot back then. I know that's a little off the wall, but yeah, I wanted to mention that one too. And then my top 5, Carrying Your Love with Me, George Strait. 4, Seven Dust, by Seven Dust. Number 3, The Color and the Shape by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Number 2, Around the Fur by Deftones. And then number 1, another great rap album, Life After Death by Notorious B.I.G. Another tragic death at that time, those two albums back to back, the Tupac and then the Biggie albums. I listen to that stuff all the time and still do.
Those two will always be
Life
linked together.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Unfortunately
Always
for
do.
tragic shit too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
But all right, cool. Mike.
One Bill had mentioned, Around the Fur, Deftones, man. Love the Deftones. I know they're kind of a divisive band, but I've always dug them. Thought they were cool. Kind of had their own thing going on. And out of all the so-called new metal / alternative metal bands, they were by far my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love them.
I did not listen to them back then very much.
No, I
They
did.
grew on me.
Oh, I
Grew
can't
on me
stand
as I
that
got
guy's
older.
voice.
Oh yeah. I think I saw them like 4 or 5
You
times.
don't like Chino's voice?
No, I don't like Chino's voice at all. But go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, that's it. I mean, there's nothing else more to say.
All right.
All
Andy?
right. Yeah. My album for 1997.
Yep.
All right. Green Day, Nimrod.
Yeah, that was
1997. It's a
That was
really
on
good
my
album. It might be a little bit long because it's a long album.
It's that time. It's that time where
Yeah.
these CDs got
they all
ridiculously
got
long.
long through that
If
time.
they would have trimmed it by a few songs, dude, this would have been just a freaking classic. But it is a very good album. Nice Guys Finished Last, Hitching a Ride, The Ground's Redundant. All the Time, Last Ride In, and of course it's got the great Good Riddance and King for a Day. There's like 10 solid tracks on here. It just went a little bit too long, but Nimrod.
What are your thoughts on Biggie, Andy? You said you didn't like Tupac. Were you not big on Notorious B.I.G. either?
No. I had disappeared on rap by that point. Even I went to go see Wu-Tang a couple of times.
All right.
And I still don't like Wu-Tang.
I don't like Wu-Tang either, man.
They were like at a festival. I said, well, let me go check them out. And then I saw Reza at another festival. And we were talking about them, me and Edwin, because Edwin absolutely loves them. So I did a deep dive on them, and I still couldn't. It's too much going on. I don't know who's who. It's just too much. So I really just So like maybe mid '90s, I didn't even get into the Chronic.
Or wow!
I like the Chronic. I like Dr. Dre, the Chronic. I like Snoop Dogg's first album, but after that, they suck. That's just me.
So I was rap a little bit in the late '80s into the early '90s. Like I got into the Ghetto Boys. I love the Ghetto Boys.
I love the Ghetto Boys. Man. Read these Nikes.
My favorites. Yeah.
Fucking my mind's playing tricks on me. Love that shit.
And the Fifth Ward Boys and all that Houston scene really was great. But then I disappeared from there.
Put the fucking gun away. Love it, man.
Fucking.
All right, Mark, what do you got, man? 97.
97. I just have one because it's been Slip Tickets, and I didn't like the debut album by this band, but I fucking love this album with My Hero, Everlong. Fuck the acoustic version. I like the fucking plugged in. Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape.
Yep, good album.
That's the album I picked because I love that fucking album. That's the album that got me into the Foo Fighters. I hated the first album with Big Me and shit like that.
I wasn't a fan of it either, Mark.
It was horrible.
Same way.
It was
horrible. That was a band that grew on me. I wasn't that blown away by the first album, but the succeeding ones, I'm like, man, that's pretty fucking good.
The Color and the Shape is like, this is when Dave Grohl started getting in his zone. I love it.
Yep. I started liking them when they did The Pretender. That song was fucking just hard, heavy, and fucking.
That's a great album too.
So fucking. Heard that song on the radio. I was just blown away by it.
Their debut album was all right. I don't know if it was fucking horrible.
It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. It was just like, it
didn't get me into it. It didn't get me into it.
Yep. I totally.
Until I heard Everlong and My Hero, and I go, oh shit, this rocks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're two completely different albums because the first one he did it all by himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can tell.
The Color and the Shape had stacked actors on it too, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't.
No, was that the next album after that? Okay. Stacked Actors is a pretty heavy Foo Fighters song. I'm just trying to remember what album that was on because I love that song.
Oh, okay. So my pick?
Yep.
What the fuck did I do with it? I guess I didn't get this one out. But my next pick will be make my boy Scribble really happy about this one, I think. Everclear so much for the Afterglow, man. I fucking love that album.
Great album.
Pretty good.
I love Art Alexis, man. He's fucking a great songwriter.
Album that's got Father of Mine. Because I love that fucking.
Yeah. I'll buy a new live.
Really good album.
Wonder.
I love that album.
Normal Like You. Just great tunes. Talk about a guy, that had a
we
fucking
did a review of that, didn't we?
That poor guy had such a shitty life, dude, man.
Yeah.
Telling his lyrics.
Really hit a stride at that point for that.
He's a huge Kiss fan for some reason.
I know he's struggling with MS now, too. It's just fucking.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just fucking the shit just keeps coming for this poor guy. But he keeps writing and getting news, dude. And he seems like a real humble, fucking nice guy, too, man. So
I met him after I saw them probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And I never talked to these guys, but I went up to him, I told him hello. And he had a show for a while on a Lithium on XM, and he was a really good host. And I told him that, and, he goes, "Oh, thanks a lot." And then he wandered off. But that's like one of the only times I ever spoke to him, and it was him. So he was pretty cool about it.
Yeah, really cool.
Eddie Trunk almost threw up on him, but that's a different story.
They were a cool band. I mean,
yeah.
What would you categorize them as?
Hey, Jerry, let's not get into the conversation.
Mark, you spent 10 hours talking about fucking Rusty. Give me 2 minutes.
No, I didn't. I've been going really quick.
All right, next album, 98.
Alternative pop, Jerry.
There you go. Sounds good. 98. Go for it, Joe.
I had a few more ideas, but all right.
Well, people got to go to sleep.
So my honorable mention for 1998 was the debut from Liquid Tension Experiment, spin off of Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy, Jordan Rudess. That's how he came into the band. John Petrucci and Tony Levin, who was in Peter Gabriel's band, was in a bunch of other stuff. Really great
phenomenal bass player.
Amazing bass player. Great instrumental album. But this is where I lose all my credibility. My favorite album in 1998 is Psycho Circus.
Oh my God. I'm walking out on you now.
No. It was supposed to be a fucking great album, but
yeah, there's only two songs I don't like on this album. And that's You Wanted the Best, because it's just god awful. And I Finally Found My Way, which is just one of the worst ballads ever written of all time. But the rest of this album, I think, is amazing. I love the rest of this album. The title track, Within, I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll, Into the Void. I fucking love We Are One.
Oh my God.
Raise Your Glasses, Dreamin', and Journey of 1,000 Years is a really, really underrated track.
We Are One?
We Are One, Mark. We Are One.
And you get on me for Oingo Boingo.
Okay. Some of my picks I don't feel so worried about anymore. All right, Bill, what do you got, man?
All right, just a couple other ones that I want to mention. Dose by Government Mule. I love Government Mule.
Yeah.
Great album. And Boggy Depot by Jerry Cantrell. And then my top 5 were Follow the Leader by Korn. 4, Hillbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie. 3, 5 by Lenny Kravitz.
Good one.
2, the only album that I'm going to have by my favorite band, which is Garage Inc. by Metallica. I loved Garage Inc. The only thing that I liked during this time period, really, by them. And then number 1, Dave Windorf is wrong. If you're looking for the guy that fucked your mom, it was me. That's Power Trip, Monster Magnet. I've never understood. You're gonna have a song that said, "If you're looking for the guy that fucked your mom, it wasn't me." No, why would you put that lyric? It should always be you, right? If you're gonna write that, right? Yeah. Anyway, love Monster Magnet. Power Trip, I think, is ahead of its time, actually. So,
great album.
Very good stoner metal album. If you guys don't know it, yeah.
Right on, man.
All right, Mike.
All right, for me, now I had a few honorable mentions. Some of them, though, Bill's already talked about, but one is Soulfly, their self-titled debut album. That was the post-Sepultura project that Max Cavalera did. And
this band must have been awesome. I need to get into them.
Well, it is different because this is a point, like, Sepultura went from being like almost like a death metal band to a thrash metal band to eventually being almost, I don't want to use new metal, but they would use a lot of alternative or new metal elements
with the groove kind of in there,
but with and also very tribal because they're from Brazil. So, and Soulfly kind of continues that trajectory. System of a Down debut album. I know Bill hates on them. Fuck off.
Great album.
I love that album.
Yeah, and
epileptic metal.
Whatever. But my runner-up, my absolute runner-up is Black Sabbath's Reunion. It's when they got back together. This was during the Ozfest era, and they played 2 live shows at home in Birmingham, England. Fucking amazing.
My album.
Yeah, but I had to go with one of my all-time favorite bands. I'm wearing their shirt, Oddfellows Rest, Crowbar, which incidentally Dr. Fuck apologized to me for bagging on it so bad when we picked it for which I was just like, hey dude, no need to apologize, man. He goes, I don't know, I must have been on my period or something. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm just glad you like it. So yeah,
it's funny because like any other time I've heard anyone mention Crowbar in his presence, he says, "Oh yeah, I like them." And then the one time they reviewed that album,
out of me. I mean, that's why I picked it, because I knew Ian liked them, but it was just like when I picked Death Angel, and I'd already done another Death Angel album with Ralph on his podcast, so I didn't want to repeat myself. So I said, "All right, I'll grab this one." And yeah, man, it
Yeah.
kind of shocked me when I was like, what? But I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Kind of made me feel bad because I tried to pick an album they both would like. And then of course he did the Suck versus Suck or whatever it was. It wasn't Suck versus Suck. It was this album versus Machine Head's Burn My Eyes, which Ralph is not a fan of that band.
No.
But he really said, man, it's a good fucking record. I don't know what the fuck my problem was, man. And because it blew me away. Because he even said, well, I saw Crowbar open for SOD. And he said that on the Rock and Metal Combat podcast.
Yeah.
And, oh, it was fucking amazing. And I'm like, so it just, yeah, it kind of like
and he loves Down. So like,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was like, what? So, but hey, it's cool. He came around. That's all that matters, And even if he didn't, that's okay. I mean, everybody's got their tastes and their things. But yeah, that's my number one for 1998.
Andy?
My number one for 1998, it's going to be The Offspring, Americana.
Good album.
Good album. I had that in my top 10.
Yeah, this is fucking awesome. I love it from the beginning to end. It's a wild ride, man. It really is. So, Americana by The Offspring. A lot of different flavor in there.
DJ'd a lot with that back then. At bars and stuff, people would ask for a lot off of that.
All right, Mark, what do you got, man?
So like I said, back then I only could listen to a few albums at that time, and God, I love this album. I still love it to this day. I go back to it a lot. Pearl Jam Yield, Do the Evolution is one of my all-time favorite Pearl Jam. Brain of Jay, it's a fucking great. It's a rockin' album. They went back to
really good.
They went back to rock, and then after that album, they went binaural. They went kind of artsy, Radiohead-ish. But Yield was a rock album. I love it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I know a few songs off there that I liked, but I never owned that one. Like I said, after Vitology, I didn't own another Pearl Jam album.
They have a lot of good albums after that. They have a lot of albums that real fans will like, but a lot of people who are not really into them won't like him.
They were one of my. I would have called them probably like a top 3 favorite band for me in the early 90s.
Well, I think you would like the album Lightning Bolt and the last album Gigatron. What was the last album?
Songs, but I'll have to check them out. So
you don't like Lightning Bolt, Andy?
Terrible.
I love Lightning Bolt.
Ugh. It made me want to vomit and have diarrhea.
What was the last album? What was the last album, Pearl Jam? Andy,
that was Gigatron.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
It wasn't Gigatron.
It was it's Dark Matter.
Dark Matter is a really good album.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I got some buddies that are really big Pearl Jam fans. So. Yeah, still.
So Jerry, that was 98.
I'm with Andy. I thought this album ruled, dude. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I love the title track, man. I love the fucking song "Pay the Man." That's a great song.
Yeah.
Even I love the goofy ass videos they did for those 2 hits that they had. Just a fucking cool band.
Pretty Fly for a White
album.
We've all seen that fucking person too in real
life.
You know what I mean? That's what's so funny about it. It was so biopic in a way, but it was and so cool at the same time. But that's my number.
My friend's got a girlfriend and he hates that bitch.
Oh yeah. We had a buddy who actually looked a lot like Dexter Holland, and every time he'd show up, we'd go, "My best friend's got a girlfriend and he hates it," which he always laughed it off. But he did look a lot like that guy, man.
He did.
I can't be the only one that thinks his voice sounds exactly like Weird Al Yankovic.
No.
Really?
No, I don't think that. I never even thought that.
I love the Offspring, but I think his voice sounds exactly like Weird Al Yankovic.
Not to me.
I never thought that in my life.
I'll have to do a compare and contrast on that, Joe.
I never thought of it. Yeah.
All right. Let's get 99, Joseph.
All right, my runner-up for 99. Great song. My runner-up for 99 is Static X, Wisconsin Death Trip. Really, really great debut album from Static X. Push It was the big hit. Bled for Days is a great song. I saw them live a couple years ago with their current lineup, which is this lineup minus Wayne Static, because of course he's dead. Did almost this whole album. Just really, really great time seeing them twice. And really, really love this album. But my favorite album of 1999 is my favorite album of the band that I'm wearing the t-shirt of. Korn, Issues. My favorite Korn album. Absolutely love this album. Falling Away From Me is my favorite Korn song. Trash, Somebody Someone, Make Me Bad, Dirty, just some really, really great stuff on this album.
Last Korn album I probably liked, really. I mean, I
love Untouchables after this. Untouchables, I think, is a really good album. But after that, I'm kind of
I was totally on board with them through Issues. This was their last album.
I have some Korn CDs. Anybody want them? I've never.
Which ones do you have?
Probably the good ones.
Well, I have all the good ones, but if you text me later.
I gotta look for them. Because I like inherited them from my ex-sister-in-law who died. She gave me all her CDs, and I don't like them.
I like one song by him. That's "Freak on the Leash." It's the only song I really like.
I have that album, whatever that album is.
That's the one before this.
I've only got their greatest hits, but I do want more Korn because all I have is their greatest hits.
They have one of the 5 albums
better.
They're like all Christian metal now, aren't they?
No.
God, no.
They got into like dubstep and stuff for a while.
Which that's an awful album. That's an awful album.
Well, didn't like one or two of them turn to
one of them
Christians?
did. They're the guitar,
the lead guitarist.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything wrong with that. I'm just saying.
Don't ever listen to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon dubstep. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But
well, fuck dubstep. I'm with Cable on that. Dubstep.
If you're looking to get into Korn, they have one of those original album series sets.
Oh, really? Do they? Okay.
And it's their 5 best albums. It's the first 5.
Okay, like
15 or $16 on Amazon.
Yeah. Let's see. All because he doesn't like it, it's crap. No, but I saw Static X in 2000. They were at an Ozfest.
Hey, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's crap. I just don't like it.
But nobody else is crap on everybody's picks.
I haven't crapped on anybody's picks.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Hey, I get shit for Oingo Boingo all the time.
I was listening to your Jerry Cantrell album because we just got tickets to go see him. And I was wanting to hear that album. And I heard Mooger say, art is up for interpretation. There's some days I want to look at the Mona Lisa, and there's other days I just want to look at porn. I love that. I'm sticking it. Yeah.
I love Jerry Cantrell, man, but that new album just didn't do it for me for some reason.
Well, you can talk about that because that's out right now. That's fine.
Anyway, where are you at now?
I'm not shitting on people's picks. They shit on me all the time, Andy. It's just
Bill 99.
All right, Bill 99.
Couple I want to mention was Eating Dust by Fu Manchu. Real quick, love Fu Manchu, and I think they're totally underrated. And the debut from the Slipknot self-titled album. And then the top 5 for me would be The Battle of Los Angeles, Rage Against the Machine. 4 is Make Yourself by Incubus. 3 is 2001 by Dr. Dre. 2 is Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. And my number 1 album for 99, I love this album because it was kind of a comeback for this guy, and he got involved with so many people. Supernatural by Santana.
Good. I like some of those songs.
Yeah,
I like that. I like the Rob
Smooth song. Smooth is good.
I like the Michelle Branch song they did together.
Yeah, I like Keep Your Lights On with Everlast.
With Everlast, yeah.
I like
That's
that
a great
too.
one.
Yeah, that
Everlast was cool, man. Everlast was pretty awesome by himself, man.
Oh, I love
Everlast.
The Whitey's album he did.
Whitey Ford.
Oh, great fucking album.
Yeah.
I like House of Pain too. I liked him, man.
Pack it up, pack it in. Let me.
So you guys didn't like that Santana album, though?
Oh, I like it. I like most of it. It has a lot of great. Rob Thomas, I love.
Yeah, I like that song with Rob.
I love
Maria.
Yeah, that's a great song too. Yeah.
What, he won like 8 Grammys for that album.
He did. I mean, it was really
blew
popular.
up.
I think Smooth was a song of the year.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good song. It was very.
Hey, I'm a Matchbox 20 nut swinger. So there you go.
I always
my dad bought that album because he's a Santana fan. Like he has some of his old records.
It brought Santana back.
It sure did, man.
Really did. Yeah.
I knew who he was from my dad, and then that came out. And now he was cool with people my own age.
Hey, you got Greg Raleigh on.
Fucking Journey owes their career to fucking Santana, man.
Sure does.
It's true.
Yeah, they do.
Black Magic Woman was Greg Raleigh, man.
Right?
Greg Raleigh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, it was actually Fleetwood Mac, I think, first, wasn't it?
I'm talking about Greg Raleigh made that song famous.
Sure. All right. Mike.
All right, man. I don't have a whole lot of honorable mentions because Bill's mentioned several of them already. And this one's kind of because this was around the time when music was shifting again, and it's like there was stuff I liked, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of like hit and miss with me. But this was an album from a band I absolutely loved in the late 80s and still do. Very underrated album, in my opinion. And that's The Gathering by Testament. I mean, holy fucking shit, is that a great record? And Lombardo was on that album. It was his first album he did with Testament. It's just fucking phenomenal from beginning to end, man. And in my opinion, should have gotten more love than it got at the time it was released. So that's my 1999 album of the year.
They played DNR when I saw them a couple years ago with Lombardo.
Lombardo. See, we didn't get to see Lombardo because
Lombardo.
I think his dad was sick or something.
Or his dad was sick.
Yeah, his dad was dying or something was going on like that, and he
I saw him during that little
that was the best time I ever saw Testament though, and I've seen him 3 times. I saw him open up with it was Corrosion and Conformity, Testament, and Iron Maiden, and then I seen them with Exodus, which at that particular show, what was the band sounded great, but Chuck's mics, man, I couldn't hear him. It was all distorted. But man, when we saw him at the pageant,
great.
Holy,
that's
fuck,
the only time
man.
I've seen them.
They were phenomenal.
Alex Skolnick's amazing.
Yes, the greatest thrash metal guitarist not named Dave Mustaine. Yeah, I said it.
I agree.
But we'll move on. I love Testament, though. Don't get me wrong. I love Testament. But where are we at anyway?
Andy.
Hey, Bill, I'm about to answer your question. Stacked Actors was on Foo Fighters.
That's right. Yes.
That's it. I love that album.
Great album. Yeah.
There is nothing left to lose.
Learning to Fly.
It starts off with Stacked Actors, Breakout, Learn to Fly, Gimme Stitches, Generator, The Great Ballad Next Year, Ain't It the Life, MIA. Dude, this is a good album.
That's a great album.
Yes, this is really my favorite Foo Fighters album. And it's not talked about as much as it should because it is one of their best.
Because I think Learning to Fly was kind of like, it was different than the rest of the album.
Yeah,
it didn't fit.
Yeah.
It was pretty mainstream.
But that video with, it had Jack Black and Kyle Gass in there and shit. It kind of made it famous,
Yeah, but that's my number one for the year 99.
Mark,
1999. Great album pick. I love that album, but I got to go with my boy, Tom Petty and Heartbreakers, Echo.
Oh, that's a good one.
I listened to that album.
Record, man.
I got a room at the top of the world tonight.
Well, I absolutely love that song.
God damn. That is one of his best fucking songs ever. Just because of that song, I just picked that album, but the whole album is just top to bottom.
I don't think Tom ever put out a bad fucking record.
No, he never did.
Great music.
I just recently bought that CD on Mark's recommendation. It's still on my waiting list of things I got to listen to.
Yeah, but dude, it's like the first 6 tracks are just fantastic on that album.
I got a room at the top of the world tonight, and I don't want to come down. Come on, man. It's like we all feel it. Yeah.
The album starts off with a ballad. It's a badass ballad.
It's a badass album.
Yeah.
Tom Petty's never put out a bad album, and I'm so sad that he's gone.
Into the Great Wide Open was kind of
what the
iffy.
fuck you talking about?
No.
Oh, dude.
Iffy.
I'm making some. Hey, mama, we're making some noise. Got fucking Into the Great Wide Open. God, out in the cold. Oh god.
Learning to Fly. Learning to Fly.
Learning to Fly.
Song. I love Tom Petty.
What? I don't want to talk to you.
One of my biggest regrets is I had so many times to see him fucking live, and I passed up all the time.
Yep.
Me too.
I lost a lot of. You said I lost credits.
I like one album. He tells me to fuck off.
I like Love and Rockets. You don't like fucking Learning to Fly. Fuck you.
Okay. But last night, Black Spinner Circle, we were doing our favorite Swan albums. I had Chris Sistick on there, and also Ralph was on there as well. But me and Al both picked Hypnotic Eye by Tom Petty. That album for him to go out on, just so great.
fucking
he was such a
gray.
in his career.
Yeah, when he died, that one hurt me because
Yeah. That
just
one
for
hurt
the
me the
same
most.
reason that Jerry said, but also my mom loved Tom Petty,
Oh,
and I lost my mom like a few months earlier, and
oh,
then
really?
Tom died, and I'm like,
Hey,
fuck. But then I'm like, you know what? That's all right because she's rocking out
Mike,
to him right now.
Mike, my mom loved Tom Petty too, brother. That's
Both my
why.
parents
That's
did.
why it hurt me so much when he died. It
Mhm.
says, well,
Yeah.
I had Neil Peart died, I had Prince
Right.
die, I had all these people, but when
He
Tom Petty
died like a
when
couple of
Tom
months
Petty
after
died,
Mom.
that hurt me the worst
Yeah.
because me and my mom bonded seeing
Right.
Tom Petty like 7 times together.
That's
That's
awesome,
awesome,
Mark.
Mark.
That is
So
awesome.
it's
brother.
like,
yeah, I mean,
I
as I
got
said,
her to Tom Petty for one thing,
that
and we bonded
it
over
really
that.
just fucked me up because, like I said, man, I just lost her in May, and I can't remember exactly what month, but it wasn't. It's just a few months later, and I was just like, and it was just shocking, man, because I just got done watching this amazing documentary about him. I think it's called "Running Down a Dream."
Oh, it's a great,
Fantastic
great
documentary, man.
Yeah, his death could have been prevented, though. That's the fuck even more.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
And so could Prince's. They both fucking did those. Yeah.
Well, wasn't Tom Petty he had a bad prescription, right?
Well, he
Something
had
like that?
several different prescriptions for different pain. The thing is, he wanted to finish that tour, the anniversary tour, and they said you need surgery, but he kept taking these drugs so he could finish that tour,
Yeah.
and that fucked him up. Yeah, he should have got the surgery and fucked the tour. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Hey, Jerry, what were those thoughts on Everclear that we cut you off on?
What do you mean?
I was making a joke that we just
Yeah.
talked about Tom Petty for the last 20 minutes. But I want to go to
okay, I
bed.
gotcha.
It wasn't 20 minutes, like 5 minutes.
Thank you, Joseph. And I was like, what?
Right.
Why do Joseph? Why do you
Joe.
always get on me for going over when all you guys go over?
Because you keep
Marcus,
yelling at Jerry for
the
it.
person that goes over the longest, I can smack him in the head over here, but like Mark's scared to tell Mike to shut up.
You're more.
I tell Jerry to
I
shut up because
see
he's
what
my
happens.
co-host.
Anyway, somebody mentioned this band earlier. I can't remember, it was an honorable
Me.
mention or something, but I
Short
fucking love
burst.
Title Record by Filter. I love this fucking album, dude. Everybody says it's take a picture, take a picture, take a picture, but there's so many fucking better songs on that album here. I'm Not the Only One is a great fucking song. Captain Bligh, The Best Things. It's just loaded with great fucking tunes.
I need to
We'll
go
keep it
back to
going.
that stuff. I had them back in the day. I haven't listened to it in a long time.
I think Richard Patrick's a pretty good singer, dude. I think he's
You
got a
know,
great voice.
I don't think Filter's ever made a bad album to me.
I am intrigued to see him open for Jerry in February because I've never seen Filter. So it's a very small place we're going. Very, very, very small place. So it'd be Filter and Jerry
Dude,
Cantrell on a very
the best fucking place is to see concerts. I'm sorry, but
sure.
they really
Yeah.
are.
Hey,
sure.
so
The bands,
Jerry,
the artists don't like them, but fucking,
Yeah.
Hey Jerry, before we get into the 2000s, because we're getting into that right now, I got a thing to say about it.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Take up some more time.
no, it's going to be a second. This year was the peak of CD sales in the United States, with sales declining year on year since then. So year 2000 was the peak of CD sales. That's all I want to say.
Interesting.
All right, number ones. Or not number ones, 2000, Joseph.
Year 2000. All right, so my runner-up for the year 2000 is the reunion album from the Great Armored Saint, Revelation.
Okay.
Great album. They've been on a hell of a run ever since.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
putting out great albums ever since then. But my number one for the year 2000 is a band that both Mike and Bill mentioned earlier, and that is the great vocal stylings of Chino Moreno,
Nice.
Deftones' White Pony.
Right on.
Great album. Opening up with Back to School, Digital Bath, Teenager, Knife Party, Change in the House of the Flies, possibly my favorite Deftones song, and closing it out with Pink Maggot. Just awesome album.
Yep.
Goes back and forth for my favorite Deftones album, but definitely my favorite album of the year 2000 is White Pony.
The album that finally got me on board with them at the time, and then went back and I finally got it. Took me a little while, but that was the one that got me on board with them. So,
All right, Bill, what do you got, man?
yeah, a couple I just want to mention was LD50 by Mudvayne.
Amazing
I
album.
saw Mudvayne right out the gate when they came out live. Great band. Mere Day Noms by Perfect Circle and Hooray for Boobies by Bloodhound Gang.
Boobies.
Love those
Boobies.
love those albums.
I love
And then-
boobies.
Yeah. We know you do, Mark. And then number 5 was Renegades by Rage Against the Machine. That cover
Good
cover
one.
we had 4, White Pony, Deftones. 3, the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem.
That's a good one.
And then 2 was hard for me not to give number 1 is Country Grammar by Nelly. Considering I'm from St. Louis and I was DJing bars, my goodness, did I have to play it? That thing was off the rails around here popular. I mean, as much as he was on board with putting St. Louis on the map nationally, I mean, Nelly was a big deal, especially around here. So that Country Grammar album just blew up. But my number 1 is Riding with the King, B.B. King and Eric Clapton. I absolutely adore that album. I'll go back and listen to it some now.
Man, you love Eric Clapton.
I was gonna say I can
love
see why
Eric
Bill's
Clapton.
pissed at me.
I love Eric Clapton. I don't like Jerry Soupy, so
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with Jerry. I like
Eric's only sold a few more copies than I have. All right.
yeah.
I like Eric Clapton and Cream, Blind Faith, Derek and the Dominoes, and then solo in the 70s.
Have you listened to the stuff he did with BB King?
I like
It's
Slow
probably
Hands.
good.
That's
It's
the only
probably good.
album I like from the Slow Hands. The only album I like
Yeah,
from him.
This Riding with the King album, man, it's a tribute to BB King, and it's you know, it's
I'm the one
fantastic.
that likes everything by Eric
My
Clapton.
favorite thing by Eric Clapton is Behind the Sun, produced by Phil Collins, and he played drums.
Well, it's like me with Nirvana. I can't stand Nirvana, but I love their Unplugged for some reason. And I
Yeah,
love
we
Eric
like-
Clapton's
yeah,
Unplugged.
like
That's
him.
the best thing Nirvana ever did. I heard
Yeah,
you
I
say that
agree.
the other night, Jerry, when I was listening to Freeform. I think it was the Jerry Cantrell album, and I agree that Nirvana Unplugged is fantastic.
It is the best thing they ever
Fantastic.
did.
Yep.
All right, where are we at here? Sorry, I lost place.
Mike.
Andy.
Mike.
Mike.
Oh, Mike. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mike first.
You're sitting right next to
Fuck,
you. in the same
man.
room.
All right. Bill mentioned a lot of the ones that I would have mentioned, but this one, and it's not really metal, but it's the singer from one of my favorite progressive metal bands. I'd mentioned them earlier in an honorable mention, and that's Maynard Keenan from Tool, and that's A Perfect Circle, Mere Demands. I fucking love this record, man. I always have from the moment it came out. And you know, and it's really the deeper tracks like Sleeping Beauty and stuff like that that I just absolutely love. I think it's a very, very cool record. I've always dug it. And that's, yeah, because right here was around the time now after this, after 2000, there's some other albums that it was like shit kind of started getting to kind of a lull around this time period. But man, after 2000, it picks back up again. So yeah, that's it, man.
All right, Andy.
Yeah, my favorite album of 2000 is going to be U2, All That You Can't Leave Behind. That's my number.
Is that the one where they gave us for free? Is that the one?
No.
No, that's the one. That's the one with Beautiful Day on it.
Ooh,
More than Beautiful Day on that album.
Yeah. It's got
Well, that's all I need to know not to listen
I
to
still
it.
have that on my fucking cell phone, actually. It's still in my fucking iTunes. I haven't got rid of it yet.
That one?
The free one they gave out? Yeah, I can't remember which one
It
was.
always plays when I turn on. I'm like, fucking stop playing.
You know, I bought the CD too because I wanted the physical copy. I like it.
But yeah, this is a really good album, beginning to end. It's solid. And that was because this came on, this was after pop. So they were kind of in the middle with playing with a lot of techno. And this is back to basics, guitar, drum, and bass. It's a good album.
All right, Mark, what do you got, man?
Well, I gotta
2
go
seconds.
Oh, fuck you. Why am I always the one that gets cut off? I go really quicker than both of you. All you guys. I don't have a bunch of honorable mentions, but I get cut off. And I'm just going to go what Andy just said. All That You Can't Leave Behind, Elevation, Stuck in the Moment, and you can't get out of it. I love that fucking song. You're stuck in a... How many of you guys have been stuck in a moment and you can't get out of it?
I got stuck listening to that
Right
song
now.
a few
Right
times.
now, yeah.
Stuck in a moment.
Right
I,
now.
I love that fucking Elevation. Woo-hoo. I love that fucking out. That album is fucking New York City. Fucking,
New York City is a good one.
oh, fucking, it's top to bottom. It's one of their best albums.
It is.
And after pop, because I got into pop later more. I bought the album, but I got into it more when they did the songs live. Gone is better live than it is on pop. But fucking it was like Andy said, back to basics. It was like the U2 that I wanted to hear again.
Yeah.
It fucking made me so happy. I love that album. I still listen to it more than pop. I don't listen to Zooropa except for Stay. That's it.
And they took a step further with how to dismantle an atom bomb.
Oh fuck yeah!
They took a step further. They did, and they did it just as good.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah. All right, my number one was. I just realized this is the wrong fucking album, ain't it?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
This is Years
Great
of
album.
Decay.
Great record,
I meant
though,
fucking.
man.
I meant to talk about Bloodletting from Overkill, man. What a fucking great album that is, dude, man. Left Hand Man, fucking great tune. That's when I was starting to get back into heavier shit. Back, my daughter was she was only 9 or 10 at the time, but she was like a little tad bit more independent at the time. So I was kind of getting into more music that I haven't listened to in a long time. This is one of the first albums that I liked because I fucking loved Overkill, in the 80s. So once I heard this one, I was like,
Fucking
yeah.
Overkill, dude. Need you say more? I mean,
I'm blown away every time I see this. They come out with their album almost every fucking year. It seems like. I mean, they have a long discography, man. So, there's some of the albums I had never heard yet. So
some of the most, in my opinion, one of the most consistent of the
Yeah.
thrash metal bands, of the old school thrash metal bands, and again, in my opinion, and I know, like people like Ralph, and I agree with him. Like, look, I like the newer Overkill albums. I've liked just about everything they've done. Do I think it's as good as the Bobby Gustafson era? No, that motherfucker was so bad they had to have two dudes to beat him. With that being said, though, I don't think Overkill's ever put out a bad record ever, in my opinion.
Jerry, I just wanted to say you probably had, out of all of us, you had the most eclectic picks, I think, because the way you shifted, maybe it was because of your daughter, but man, you were like so heavy at the beginning, and then you were more almost pop and soft rock there for a while.
I wanted to get. I tried to put myself in the year and come up with what I really liked that year.
Sure.
I mean, there were better albums now that have come out that year, but I wasn't into them at the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I feel that way about at least some of my picks, and I'm going, I probably like this record better now, but at the time, this was all what I was listening to.
Yeah, Down was just so good. I had to pick
like the Incantation one, like the Incantation one. I was just intrigued by it. It was new to me, that type of what Mark likes to call the Cookie Monster type vocals. I was really into that, and they were just awesome, man. And then MTV, I Hear You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. I don't know why, man. I was just attracted to it, man. I thought it was good music.
Oh, because she was hot. You like hot.
See, if I did my list that way, what I was listening to at the time, my top album of 2000 would have been Sesame Street Sings Your ABCs.
Right?
Fuck yeah, dude. Sesame Street rules.
Yeah. How old are you, Joseph?
25.
Okay, I knew you were quite a bit younger. Yeah. See, I turned 25 in 2001, so this was right in my wheelhouse for music.
25, 1995.
Yeah, he would be more like Imagine Dragons, 21 Pilots.
21. I can't believe Chris Elio likes.
Jerry, that's the worst thing you've ever said to me.
I don't know why Chris Elio's older than you. He loves 21 Pilots, and I always give him shit for that.
He's a hipster, Mark.
I don't mind 21 Pilots. They're all right. I Imagine Dragons suck.
Yeah, I'm not big.
I imagine there's no dragons. Yeah.
And Machine Gun Kelly, all those fucking
Machine Gun who?
Posers.
Why even say that god awful? He's done with music.
No,
He was
but,
a dude with the shit all over his face.
Yeah, I
What's
think
his name?
Post Malone.
Post Malone.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. Don't get me
He
wrong.
can Malone
He's-
my post.
and he can actually sing. He's got a decent voice, but his music sucks.
Really? It's all auto-tune. How do you know
Yeah,
he
it's
gets
all-
Well, he
Uh,
does
good
like
point.
when he
Good
does
point.
when he does some stuff live like acoustically, he actually does have a pretty good voice.
Again, that's one more thing about Post Malone, how horrible humanity has become. He had a fucking really bad accident on stage.
Mhm.
He fell and really got hurt. People were just laughing and making fun of it. Dude, what the fuck is wrong
Yeah,
with us, man?
I'm.
What the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with us?
What bothers me is like what I liked about this era that you picked, Mark, was you had a time when all these things they were so different, and I mean rap and metal and country they were all so different, but
Yeah.
they were all everybody could get into all three of them at the time, and but now you almost don't have hip hop, pop music, or country anymore. They've have this amalgamation.
No, they
like,
homogenized it.
all come in.
Yeah.
It's just a conglomerate to make money. I mean, that's why Post Malone's doing country music now, and Jelly Roll's doing country
Or you got
music
somebody
now.
like, and again, I'm
It's
not
crazy.
knocking on her because I know, man, fuck, you can't deny the girl's success.
Yeah.
But
Beyonce, is that what you're
Taylor.
Oh, Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Hey, you can
from
say
country to
I
pop.
don't like her at all, but she did take care of her crew members, so give her that.
yeah,
My point
I
is,
give her a lot. And I'm
it's
just
just become such a. Oh, it's just
It's corporate. It's
yeah,
corporate.
it's all corporate now. You're right. That's the word I was.
Yeah,
looking for,
that's
Joseph.
another thing I had pissed off because they all like called Journey, Foreigner, corporate rock. That shit was at least made. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. These new bands are not just hey. Let's
Yeah, no,
homogenize
this stuff is corporate rock. Imagine Dragons is corporate rock.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very.
It's not
corporate.
rock music.
Journey
It's
is
not-
not.
it-
And
Journey,
all that started towards.
It's
I mean-
rock with rap and pop and all
let's
that
just
stuff
be
in it.
really honest.
Yep.
I know some people might get, but Ralph has a point with the things that he says.
Mhm.
Right now, I wouldn't say rock is dead, but it's definitely dormant. I mean, I keep hoping that eventually it'll be like waking up a sleeping giant and it's gonna, like somebody's gonna come along. I mean, and what's sad is there's great rock and metal bands out there, but I mean, man,
they're not gonna
I know people bagged on him at the time, but Lars was absolutely right. He
Yeah.
was fucking right.
Yeah.
To borrow part of a famous Frank Zappa quote, rock isn't dead, it just smells funny.
Yeah.
There's some great bands coming out of England right now. There's this band called Florence Black I'm getting into. They are fucking
Oh, dude,
awesome.
there's some great bands.
Dust
There's
Coda,
always
just
like
great shit.
underground
That's
stuff. I
Coda,
mean,
yeah.
and
Great underground.
grounds
Big
and
band, Wild
underground's
Ride,
great, and there's going to be a certain set, but it just saddens me when bands like say Night Demon aren't going to get bigger than they should be
Right.
because of just the way
I'm
things
just
are
gonna
now.
say kids are gonna start to get bored. They're gonna start to say this is different. It's gonna be like what Nirvana did to the fucking hair metal and the fucking grunge.
Or even
something's gonna come out and it's gonna
Oh.
change what we're.
I
what-
hope you're right,
happening.
Mark. I do kind of like, and I know you're not a big fan of them, but like the way Korn did,
Yeah.
when
but
they
to be
so
fair though,
different at the time.
a band like Night Demon that is more traditional metal, a band like that hasn't sold in 40 years.
right?
There's not a single band that has sold like that since Metallica, and Metallica had to change their sound to sell that much.
Right.
Hey, I got this my new girlfriend, her nephew Ricky. He's like what 15. The kid is playing like saxophone, drums, and guitar. He's playing all this shit, and he loves fucking Green Day, Metallica. He loves all these
Right.
bands. There's young kids right now that he likes
They
more
are. They're loving
rock
that
than I
stuff.
like. He likes
yeah,
Blink
All the kids,
182. I
there's
don't like
kids
this
I'm
shit.
teaching. Like I'm teaching 10th graders right now, and there's a kid that came into my classroom last week with a Possessed Seven Churches shirt on. Like
Wow.
I was like, what? Like that's not what.
Larry
Another,
Lalonde from Primus was in that
Yeah,
band,
right.
another kid has a Frank Zappa Hot Rat sticker on his iPad,
and that's
like,
great.
Nice. Nice.
Like-
That's awesome. Though.
Like these kids are cooler than we
I'm
give
just
them
saying
credit for.
there's hope for the future.
Yes, there very much is.
There's
But
fucking
much.
hope.
But
Rock
Joseph,
is not dead, it's dormant.
The
Yeah.
problem with all that is they're all that stuff. They got to go back
Yes.
to listen to all that stuff from
Yeah.
back in the day because the new stuff isn't coming out. I mean, I was listening to Black Sabbath and old Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin while I was listening to Pantera and Tool and White
Yeah.
Zombie. And they
That's
were
the
new.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's my
honestly, look at me.
concern.
Look at this giant stack of CDs. This is the only one that came out in my lifetime.
Wow.
These all did not come out in my lifetime.
I mean, yeah, that's my
See,
concern.
you're one of the hopes. You're only 25, dude.
And there
We're
are
like in
some
our
great,
50s here.
great
Almost.
newer hard rock and metal bands. You know, there's some great stuff out there. And yes, some people are buying it, and people are consuming. Even young people. Like I remember when I went to see that Testament X, and there was a girl. She couldn't have been older than 12, and they were playing Iron Maiden, and she's fucking rocking out to it, and I'm like, that's awesome. And
We see young kids at shows all the time.
yeah. All
We
the
see
time.
Rob
Yeah.
Zombie.
I see
There's a
kids.
bunch
I
of
see
them. Yeah.
parents bringing their kids to the
that
shows.
was almost
all
like
the
going
time.
back in time, man.
You go look at YouTube, man. There's all kinds of these young fucking musicians shredding,
oh
man.
yeah, yeah.
They're out
I'm
there.
not saying it's.
They're out there. They're just
And the
They're-
thing
they're-
is
they're-
right now, if people want to listen to this kind of music, that's why I get pissed off. is
People
there's-
are gonna rebel and get tired of this homogenized
Well,
shit.
I
and
hope you're
fucking
right.
bring our shit
God, I
back.
hope
It's
you're
gonna
right.
happen. It goes in stages.
Here's my only warning with that, and this is what we'll kind of end on is everyone always hopes, oh, people will rebel and then our stuff will come back. That's not the way to look at it because it's never gonna happen that way.
And let's
It's
be honest,
never gonna happen that
and
way.
some of y'all want to bag on some of these newer bands, but you know what? To me, it's Jamie Jost of Hatebreed says it all the time. A high tide raises all ships.
Yep.
And when you got kids going to see bands like Avenged Sevenfold or Five Finger Death Punch, say what you want about
or even
them,
Wasp.
but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Last time I saw
lot of
Death
those
Punch,
guys
Megadeth
are
opened
gonna-
up for them.
Yeah.
They're going to get into other stuff.
I
Like
was there.
I remember a guy who his gateway band was Korn. Now he listens to like fucking all this black metal and I mean really extreme shit. He loves the classic stuff too, and he went back to Black Sabbath and all that. Very, very knowledgeable about all kinds of hard rock and metal and all kinds of music. But my point is he started, so when people want to bag on like a Five Finger Death Punch, man, I'm like, but they're a good gateway band, like to me for younger people.
Yeah.
They got, you can't just fucking throw fucking, especially something really extreme and heavy to a young kid right away. They're going to be like, what the fuck, man? You gotta, and that's
See, like that was my experience. I was the kid that like my parents were really into classic rock. So like Styx and Kiss and Kansas and
I love that stuff. Yeah.
That was my gateway into the stuff that I listen to now, and I still listen to all that stuff. But like my best friend, his intro was Korn. Like he's the one that got me into Korn, all that kind of stuff. New metal, like that era of music was his era of music. And then in becoming friends with me, I got him into a lot of the older stuff, and now he and I go to see all these different bands. He and I have gone.
That's
to
awesome,
see.
dude, and that's what it's
Everybody
about.
up here and there.
Yeah,
and like Mark Baggs on Ghost, but they're bringing a lot of young people.
Another huge band.
Hey, I just bag on a band. I don't bag on people who like them, Jerry. Only you.
But
I just wanted to bring it up that Mark did a good job picking this because this was a good era.
Great topic
show.
Mark.
Yeah, really good.
Kudos, brother.
What are we doing next week?
What are we doing next week?
No fucking idea.
I forgot. I think nobody's picked that.
We're doing top 11 spinoffs.
Oh yeah, top 11
that's
spinoffs.
right,
yeah. TV spinoffs.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So if you guys want to be on there, let us know. But let's pimp your shit, Metal Mike.
Oh, of course, you can check me and Bill out every Friday night, the Metal Mike Show from 7 p.m. Well, actually 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Cranium Radio. And of course, Bushy's got his internet, so we're gonna actually record 2 episodes this Monday. So they'll be coming out. It's one is Full Force Football follow-up, and the other one's our top 10 Christmas movies. So really looking forward
Christmas movies. Die Hard #1.
Nope.
I love Die Hard.
Well, Christmas Vacation I put.
If you make Die Hard a Christmas movie,
I just
Terrifier
rewatched
3 is a
Christmas Vacation about a week ago, dude.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah, I do too. Bad
Shit is
Santa.
full.
All right, Andy, pimp your shit, man.
Yeah, next week on the Black Spinner Music podcast, it's going to be top 10 albums of the year 1975.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be me and Al with Brad Dahl and Bushy. It's going to be on there.
Oh,
Nice.
So it's gonna
Asshole, I've been asking him to come on one of the shows and he won't give me an answer. Fucker.
We got to have you on, Mark.
Internet,
That's still in the works.
Trying to asking me when our episode was going to be on yesterday because he was watching and commenting. I was like, he's got his internet back right after tonight. I'm going to ask him to be on next week. So,
I asked him. He said he had his internet back. When could it be on? I'll let you know. He's blowing me off, fucker.
Well, we got to have you on, Mark.
I'll be on.
We need to have each and every one of you on for different things.
that was great. I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just got to find the right subject, man.
I pimp all your shits, man.
You do, and we appreciate it, Mark.
Joseph,
I pimp you too, though, man. I share your stuff.
I hope you do.
Mark is the high tide that raises all sails.
No, that's a rock and metal combat podcast.
No, that is that.
I gotta give shit.
Without the Rock and Metal Combat podcast, I would not know any of y'all. So
right.
It started with Decibel Geek, and then I knew the Rock and Metal Combat podcast at Decibel Geek. So I gotta give them.
See, for me, it was Rock and Metal Combat podcast, and then that's when I discovered Decibel Geek.
Yeah,
but,
same
yeah,
here.
those.
It was actually Ralph.
It was
Ralph's
Ralph's
Almost Human
YouTube
channel.
Yeah,
Ralph's Almost
Yeah, see, I'm not
Really?
into Kiss, so that didn't get me there.
For me, it was the Thrasher Dies videos. That's how I discovered Ralph. And then when I seen over there, and I'm like, that's the guy, Thrasher Die guy.
Well, I
And
started
click on
hearing
it.
Chris talk about the Rock and Metal Combat podcast, then I went there and I heard the stuff with Terrence. I go, this is boring. Sorry, Terrence, if you're listening. But
you thought it was boring and then decided to have him as a co-host. Cool.
Hey, I wrote on his coattails and then I figured out how to do it myself. I said later, dude.
No, I'm obviously an OMG Kiss fan, so the Almost Human page was the first place I figured it out, and I had no clue who Ralph was. But back then, he started every episode with "I'm Dr. Fuck from Thrasher Die." The Thrasher Die logo would pop up on the screen. I had no clue who they were, so I looked up into Thrasher Die, and it was right around the same time that they were starting the podcast. I was all of 15. I was all of 15 years old.
That's how I started.
His Vinnie Vincent review was a fucking classic.
Yeah, Joseph. I like I said, I think it was Wake Up and Smell the Thrasher.
Yeah. The puppet video.
I saw that video, laughed my ass off because it was heavy and I loved it, but it was funny. And then on the side, I see all these and some of it was Thrasher Die, but then it was, I think it was Almost Human at that time because it was just a Kiss channel. He had several different channels.
That was when he was
and it was him going
his, full album,
and it's him pointing at the camera, going, "I told you Kiss was not going to play at the Hall of Fame or something." So I clicked on it. Like, man, it looks like the Thrasher Die guy, and he's just going off on this rant. And I just started watching more of his videos. I was like, man, this guy's cool. He kind of reminded me of me and my buddies, And then then he said, "Hey, I got a podcast, and here's the link." And so I was a day one, from day one listener.
Yep.
Anyway, man, it's that time, folks, for all of us. So
I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put in the show notes. Dr. Fuck gets his ass licked. He loves that shit. But before we get out of here, tomorrow on the Freeform Rock podcast, we have Jerry's pick, House of Lords, Full Tilt Overdrive. So check that out. And Jerry, take us out, man.
Thank you guys, man, for being on. This is a lot of fun. It was a long one. Thank you for staying with us. Mark, fuck you for cutting me off. I'm just kidding, dude.
Dude, I get cut off more than you.
Everclear, yeah.
I just I don't fucking like Everclear anymore, dude. I just totally lost interest in that band.
I love Everclear.
Thanks a lot, dude. Yep. Everything's Mark's fault. But no, Bill and Mike, thank you guys for being on, dude.
Because
thanks for having us on,
needed to go, so I was kind of thinking about
Andy, man. Andy, always great to have you. That's a pretty cat, dude.
Thank you so much. This is
and Joe, man, the youngster, the whippersnapper of the group.
Knows his shit, I may add.
Knows more shit than I do. So
thank
you guys for being on.
Add one more thing. Just to plug one more thing. We got our new episode of 3 Shots Down that just went up today.
It did?
About the three ladies of soul. We do Ella Fitzgerald. We do Nina Simone, and we also do Jerry. What was your pick again?
Billie Holiday.
And Billie Holiday.
Nice.
Oh shit! I got something to listen to on the way to work tomorrow.
That's what I love about Kate. I love about Kate is she comes out with some shit that I know nothing about, but I love doing the homework and learning about it. So that's what I love.
Kate's awesome. We love Kate.
Yeah, great girl.
All right,
guys. Y'all take care. Love you guys, man. Keep fucking rocking, man.
Stay metal.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye, Charlie. Bye.
Bye.